That like button on the way in. What's up, Gamer? What's up, Ash? How are you? What's up, Johnny? See you. Hey, Roxanne. Johnny Dad. What's up, brother? Be right with you. Hit that like on the way in, please.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
God bless the United States. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real?
Up, Alvin. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Blunt Politics. What's going on? Tom's in the house. What's going on to Tom and Victoria? How are you doing? What's going on, Mark? Thank you for your services. Please tell Elizabeth I said hello. What's going on, Dame Dog? Appreciate you guys. What's happening, Etch? What's up, Gamer? Again, what's up, Rocks? Thank you for your services. Tamra, how are you? What's up, Greg? Be kind. What's that say? Be kind, have hope. How are you? Appreciate that. Good name. I like that as well. What's up, William? Cool Breeze, Sister to All, Yakov. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Thank you so much. It is January 16th, 2026. And per usual, as any political podcast has to talk about, we have a shitload to discuss. I have pulled up, just to kind of a few things we'll be talking about today. This first one, let me throw this on the screen. That way you guys can kind of follow along with some of these stories that we'll be diving into. Ben Meiselas and Midas Touch have an update on yet another murder in ICE custody. And then they have, I believe, a compilation of some of the protests, some of the action, and some of the, the violence perpetrated and aggression from ICE against the American public. So a couple of clips of that we'll be diving into. We'll also be taking a look at this, the CNN, where basically they're talking about Donald Trump's polling numbers and Donald Trump, as it pertains to ICE and what the American people are feeling. And it's not looking good for Donald Trump, I mean, to say the least. And we obviously knew that was coming, but CNN has a pretty good little update. And again, I think that's only about 2.5 minutes, so nothing crazy. Donald Trump is once again threatening the people of Minnesota, and not only the people of Minnesota, but the lawmakers of Minnesota with, calling them insurrectionists, threatening the Insurrection Act. So we'll be diving into a couple of his statements. He also, I think, spoke on the front lawn of the White House this morning and had a couple dumb things to say. So we'll be going over that as well. I'd also like to mock Donald Trump for his participation trophy. I mean, for this guy to secondhand steal, borrow, obtain somebody else's Nobel Peace Prize is just a laughable matter, and we're definitely going to be laughing at that. Donald Trump saying that we shouldn't have elections, like we've been kind of telling people. I know some people thought it was hyperbolic. Oh, how's he going to do that? He's not serious. Well, again, laying the groundwork already. That's a Mediaite article from the 15th from yesterday. Trump tells Reuters we shouldn't even have an election. And that's ahead of midterms. So we'll be diving into that. And then the lies and propaganda and the cover-up by Caroline Leavitt from those statements by Donald Trump, and how she has to get everybody to believe that he was just joking. It was only a joke, people. I know it's like the 14th, 100th time that he's mentioned something along those lines, and he's got a hat that says Trump 2028. But, I mean, just disregard all of those things because it was just a joke. So we'll be diving into that. Like I said, I think Trump spoke, this morning he had a couple dumb things to say. So if we have time, we'll jump into that and kind of debunk some of that bullshit. Once again, Donald Trump is threatening our allies directly. So this is just a quick statement from Trump where he basically says he called basically all of our allies to threaten them about Greenland. So he's now threatening our allies. Germany, I think, is the example that he brings up in this one, with higher tariffs, and not just higher tariffs, but we're talking 5, 6, 7, 10% higher, 10 times higher, not percent, 10 times higher than it already was. So again, not only is he trying to start a war with NATO, but now he's actively going after our allies, trade partners, military partners, and trying to, again, punish them and pressure them into just giving up Greenland or not doing anything when he goes for Greenland. We talked about this clip yesterday where Kyle Kulinski was on with Piers Morgan on his show, and he got Michael Knowles pretty good, and that's just a quick clip as well. So if we have time, we'll dive into that. Another Pondering Politics, he kind of covers this, so we have two ways we could cover that. as well. And then we'll be diving into a little bit from Artur Rehi, a little bit of update from Ukraine, and how the Russians are still using their cavalry, let's just say, and even the horses don't want to be Russian anymore. So all that and more to dive into. Please make sure that you're hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast, and I'm Boston Brian. Thank you so much for joining us. Fuck ICE, Slava Ukraine, fuck Donald Trump, just in case you're wondering where we stand on the issues. All right, let's dive into this. And again, there are some people out there, Mercado's out on the road. I thought this morning he was back at the Whipple building. Let me see. We'll just rewind a little bit just to kind of, touch base with everybody, all of these, patriots out there doing the Lord's work at this moment in time and, keeping ICE occupied, making sure they're not able to be, there's fucking, look at this Nazi prick. Now, tell me that doesn't, I'm going to get off the screen, right? I'm going to get off the screen. I'm going to make this bigger. And if I wasn't a World War II nut, right? If you guys hadn't been watching Blunt Politics for a long time and you know that, we like to relate everything back to as much as possible what happened in history and how we can, kind of prevent that or how we can combat it, judging on what's taken place already. Now, if none of that was the case and you were just looking at this and you saw what Greg Bovino is walking out in right now, like what fucking mental image, what graphic would that bring up in your mind? Like, what is a long black trench coat? You know what I mean? Like this fucking leathery look, like what does that kind of represent to you? Look at this fucking, I can't, I'll get thrown off, but check this out. Right, and I'll put the sound up just so you can hear his. The Nazi-looking prick in the middle, just in case you're not familiar with who he is, this motherfucker right here. But again, dressed in what can only be described as an almost perfect replica of an SS trench coat, or in a Nazi or German army general trench coat. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Where nobody else is wearing anything even remotely close to that. They're all cosplaying in different roles, right, for different reasons. But he specifically picked out this attire. He specifically picked out this look. And I'll let that play in the background, but I'm pretty sure there's like other pictures and like, what do you call them? Photo shoots that he's done in like similar attire as well. And I'll look for, but just check this out. And again, what kind of picture does this bring up in your mind? Who does this remind you of in history?
Fuck out of our streets! You get the fuck out of our streets!
All right, and just to kind of further drill home the point, this is what I'm talking about. So he has this also going for him, right? So this is just a couple of the photo shoots that he's done in the, a similar aspect, similar attire. And again, what does this represent to you? What does this look like? What does it look like he's trying to represent in these photos? I'm not sure how you could kind of conjure up anything other than, let's see, long trench coat. Sorry, I'm looking this up in the background here. See if we can do like a side-by-side comparison. Images. Let's see here. No, I don't want to buy one. I just want images of people wearing one. Let's see here. See if this brings it up. But, just to kind of give you an accurate representation, I put this on. So if you type in SS, long trench coat, World War II, this is pretty much exactly what comes up, okay? This is exactly what comes up. And you can see here, I mean, if this right here, if that is pretty much the picture of Greg Bovino right here, this is exactly what we're looking at if it will ever show up. This right here, ready? Right there. There he is right there. All he's doing is missing the face. And there's Greg Bovino roaming the streets of Minnesota right now. I mean, what else can you get? What else do you gather from that? I mean, here's Greg Bovino. Here's his fucking, his little photo shoots that he's doing. Here he is side by side with Hitler in a few instincts. In a few pictures here. Here he is doing a clear what looks to be Heil Hitler Nazi salute there. Another one that he's famous for in that video that was going viral. I mean, just all of these. Look at all of these. And you tell me that he's not going the haircut, all of it. And you tell me that he's not going for a specific look and going after specific people, right? Bullshit, he's not. And again, you can kind of do this, but let's dive into a little bit of, let's see if anything kicked off actually right here. I'm curious.
You got this bitch! Fuck you! Fuck you! Latino, you're a fucking bitch! Fucking move! Hey! Bite me, asshole. Up yours, bitch. Nobody fucking wants you. You're terrorizing our children. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You're a disgrace to that flag. You're a disgrace.
I just love that he's getting these people right up in his face, basically as close as they could get, giving it fucking everything they have, right? Letting these people know exactly what they feel about him, you know, and it's like, as tough as he's trying to play it off right here, like it doesn't matter, and, you know, keep saying back up, you know that day in and day out, these fucking assholes, these fat motherfuckers, these people that literally couldn't run from the back of the vehicle to the front of the vehicle without passing out or dying from absolute exhaustion, right? You think that them showing up every single day and having the American people that they probably know, right? Who knows where these fucking people are from? But in some instincts, I guarantee you there is somebody in that ICE fucking crowd right now that knows the people that are fucking protesting against them and what they're saying. And they got to go home at night and rest their head on the pillow knowing they have to go do that every single day and have the people spit on them and fucking yelling and screaming and fucking just hating them their guts, right? And that has to take a toll at some point. So Greg Bovino is trying to play it off cool here like it doesn't matter. But you know that the treatment he's getting everywhere he goes is absolutely having some sort of mental detrimental effect, whether he recognizes it or not, whether he allows it to creep into his kind of existence or not. That remains to be seen. But at some point, it's going to show up.
Hey, the birds hate you! The birds hate you!
The birds hate you.
Traitor! Traitor! Traitor!
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you can kind of tell who the higher ups are, who like the, you know, the higher ranking people are, considering they're not out there in masks. I don't know if that's due to the website that is now actively doxing these ICE fat fuckers, but, you know, I do have something to say. It's really not good. But I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit at this point. Fuck them. Fuck them. That's what I got to say. All right. Just for the sake of time, let's dive into, again, this kind of compilation that Midas Touch and Status Coup News put together. This is in a two-part of basically one describing the most recent death, you know, in the hands of ICE. At an ICE facility, right? And again, it does like a compilation of some of the interactions between ICE and the protesters coming up. So I'm going to speed it up just a touch, as we do with Ben. No offense, Ben, but we're going to speed it up just a touch, and we'll get through some of this, and we'll dive on to the next story, which is, you know, the polling numbers that Donald Trump is seeing from these ICE actions that are going on now, you know, majoritively in Minnesota, but also elsewhere throughout the country. You know what I mean? Heavily being focused on in Minnesota, I should say, but going on in multiple places throughout the country. So let's dive into this Midas Touch video. Hit that like button. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I really do appreciate you joining me. Thank you, guys. Oh, you know what I should do? It would be good is putting that there.
Breaking loose as ICE and Border Patrol have murdered another migrant in a detention center. We've learned about this latest murder from the Mexico Foreign Ministry. The Mexico consul was the one who released the information about this death at a detention center. This is the fifth migrant to die in ICE custody this year, and it's only mid-January. Every 3 days, one human being is being killed by ICE at this rate. We also learned in El Paso, the El Paso medical examiner says it is ruling the death of 55-year-old Cuban man at ICE's Camp East, Montana. The death a homicide. He was allegedly choked to death by an ICE guard during a struggle after he refused to enter a housing unit without his medications. Now you go.
So again, somebody that doesn't have his medications and is just choked out to death by an ICE agent, and then we're supposed to believe that they're out here for like the best interest of the American people. Like we're supposed to believe that they're out there serving and protecting, while again they're rounding up American citizens, shooting fucking American citizens for exercising their First Amendment right to, you know, to go out there and protest freely and peacefully. And we're supposed to, again, as they're shooting people in the face. And again, I do believe that I just saw a report on let's see. I think it was 4 times that she was shot that I saw, right? 4 shots reported now, because we all thought it was 3 for Renee Good. Let's see. Oh, thank you. And then, so let me see this. Yeah, this is reported. This is just, you know, just the first one that I saw. This is just a Fox News article here. And now we're saying Renee Good was shot 4 times, including in the head, the fire report shows. So again, just an added layer onto that fucking gruesome scene, an added layer onto that investigation that has been botched. People have been, resigning left and right. Federal officials are not cooperating with state and local officials. I mean, it's just a fucking total debacle at this point. A clear and concise cover up being perpetrated. Again, when you don't allow the state and local officials to actively participate in an investigation of something that happened in their jurisdiction, then that's a fucking red flag. That's a problem. But as you can see here, we all thought, and it was reported widely, I should say, that it was 3 shots fired. Well, now we're getting here that Renee Good was actually shot 4 times. So again, just to put that in case anybody hasn't heard that little tidbit, that little piece of information, just want to make sure that we're doing the accurate reporting. That's what's being put out there now by the report. So let's dive back into this. This is just a few encounters recently between ICE and the protesters. And then again, like I said, we'll dive into the polling numbers and what the American people are feeling and telling Donald Trump about what ICE is doing right now.
Go to Minneapolis and St. Paul, where there is havoc on the street being caused by these ICE and Border Patrol terrorists, these SS, these Gestapo, Donald Trump's paramilitary forces continue to terrorize the communities. They continue to gas the communities with noxious substances of unknown origin as well. Not just your pepper sprays, not just your pepper balls, these noxious green substances that are suffocating people there. We're going to show you some of the
and again, I did see this name go through. I just want to make sure that I let you guys know that I recognize that with the chat that went by. This is another instance that somebody wanted me to look up. Family seeks answers after ICE deported man to Costa Rica in a vegetative state. Exclusive before Randall Gamboa Esquivel died. His health had deteriorated badly while he was in ICE custody. Costa Rican family demands answers after ICE deportation and death. Have you ever smelled I don't know why it says that. I'm sure it says that's disgusting though. The family of a Costa Rican man who was deported from the United States in a vegetative state and died shortly after arriving back in his home country is still urgently seeking answers from the authorities about what happened to him while he was in a detention center. He crossed the United States-Mexico border December 2024, goes through a little bit of his history. But again, this is just another brutal accounting, another fucking clear example of the treatment that people are seeing, regardless. I mean, what we just showed on the show yesterday, the woman that was ripped from her vehicle, right? She was ripped straight out of her vehicle. The first thing she said is, I'm a disabled woman. I believe she said she was autistic and she was going to a doctor's office, and that didn't change the treatment. That didn't change the physical contact, the aggression that the officers were showing, which again, I, in my, amateur opinion, kind of stipulated or thought and would, that's a policy that would be put in place by law enforcement agencies, by fucking DHS, by ICE. If you're dealing with somebody that's disabled, has a, anything that makes them in any way a different case to handle, right? Then you should change your rhetoric. You should change your tactics, right? Policy probably changes. I mean, again, if you're dealing with somebody in a wheelchair as opposed to somebody that's able-bodied, like you could see the difference in that. And again, there was no difference whatsoever. They were just as aggressive. They were just as fucking violent and forceful with the young woman that they pulled out of the car there. So again, this goes right in line with the treatment that we've seen, as Ben right here is kind of describing with these, this latest murder that were in the hands of, ICE, at least in their custody. So I'll let Ben kind of go on with this story here and kind of give us a little bit more of the compilation of these kind of, back and forth the protesters and ICE have been having.
Footage that Status Coup, our partners on the ground there in Minneapolis, have been taking. We've been working with Status Coup to bring you this footage through their incredible team that they have there on the ground. And this footage it shocks the conscious. That's not even the right words for it. But let me show you what goes down. By the way, support Status Coup if you can. Subscribe to their YouTube channel, subscribe to their Substack, become a member of Status Coup. I think they're doing some great work right there. Here you'll see Status Coup.
A lot of people out there right now. I'd like to second that, and not only with Status Coup, but again, Mercado Media, like I said, Jolly, a ton of good people out there doing the Lord's work. The Woke Farmer, Oja, the everyday citizens that are out there that don't have prominent social media accounts. Every single one of them deserves our respect, recognition, praise, admiration, whatever you want to call it, but they all deserve it. So not just these bigger and more prominent kind of YouTube channels, but every single person, man, woman, child, and anything other that are standing out there, representing this country and expressing their God-given right to their First Amendment, to peacefully protest what this government is doing, deserves our respect and admiration. So much appreciated to everybody out there.
this footage right here. A swarm of ICE agents start firing pepper balls at unarmed Minneapolis protesters. The people are being peaceful. Go back home. Go back home. Get out of our city. They are under attack by this ICE.
I mean, I agree. He's been doing, I mean, anybody that's out there, again, just trying to capture the scene, trying to capture the moment, trying to capture this, this moment in history that we seem to be living through. And it's tough to recognize that. Again, it's like that, the frog in the boiling water type, the boiling pot type of aspect. It's tough to recognize the significance of the moment as you're living through it. But as, when history looks back upon it, it is, it becomes more evident just how significant and important that moment in time was. And I think we're definitely at an inflection point right now. We're definitely at one of those points in history, in my opinion, where, it's I don't want to say do or die, but, it's pretty much gotten to that point. It sucks to say, but when we're looking at, again, the mayor and people like Jacob Fry talking about how the state and the local law enforcement are, basically unable to do their job of protecting the citizens against what these ICE officials and DHS officers are doing, because they have a lot more people, they have a lot more funding, they have bigger guns, and they don't trust these people to not use those guns on the local and state law enforcement. Like, that tells you a lot. I know we talked about that on the show yesterday, but I think that's a big fucking thing that we need to make sure that we're paying attention to. Because when everybody's like, oh, is it really that bad? Is the hyperbolic rhetoric and like this, do or die aspect, is it really that? Like, take a look at what the fuck's going on, and you pieces, put the pieces of the puzzle together and tell me what outcome, other than a fascistic takeover of this country, the blatant authoritarian takeover using fascist tactics of this country has been taking place and has been underway for at least, and I believe more, but at least the last 10 years since Donald Trump became president the first time, right? I mean, the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, any right-wing think tank and their plans and beliefs and what they've wanted to do for quite some time. The NRA, I mean, the list is fucking endless at organizations on the right, funded by right-wing billionaires that have just the most detrimental fucking policies that they want to put in place specifically to enrich themselves, their shareholders, their donors, the 1% of the 1%. Not you, not me, not your son, not your daughter, right? Not your mother. They don't want better health care for your mother or your father, right? No, they want fucking... And there was a good video going around, and I still haven't really been able to kind of confirm or deny whether this was like a skit or not, but there was a video going around of what looked to be a billionaire standing around with other rich people next to a fucking giant Christmas tree with a bunch of presents around it, and basically making fun of poor people and saying, hey, if your Christmas doesn't look like this, you're fucking poor, yada, 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 things along those lines. But it's like, I don't give a fuck. And I think one of the videos kind of referenced it that I saw was like, listen, buddy, I had more time spent in better time, more quality time spent with my family with just a fucking single present for one person than you've ever had in your life with those 1,000 presents that you don't know who they're for. You don't know what's in those fucking gifts. You didn't buy them. Your wife didn't buy them. Your assistant had to fucking order them and pick them up and wrap them. You don't know a fucking thing that's under that tree. So in reality, I had more quality time. I had better time spent with my friends and my family under the tiny Christmas tree, right? Or the giant Christmas tree. In my case, the dad used to try to fit into the house when the ceiling was only 8 feet tall. The 10-foot tree is gonna leave a mark. And we definitely had a mark from the front door all the way to where the Christmas tree was set up on the ceiling. And you could tell because it would drag on the ceiling. But anyway, I digress. But I definitely had more quality time spent, and I'm sure the people in the chat can agree that you guys had more quality time spent with your friends and your family, regardless of how much you spent at Christmas or how many presents were under the tree. As long as you had the company, as long as you had the people there and some good food, a couple drinks, some laughs, what else do you need, right? So again, just the reference in that kind of video that was put out there that kind of irked me a little bit. But all right, let's dive onto this.
For me, and this looks like war footage because it is. There is a war taking place in the United States that's been declared on the people in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and so many people in many other cities. Here, play this clip.
He knows I see it. Oh, fucking scared! You fucking scared!
Like, what is the policy of point blank firing even non-lethal, less than lethal projectiles at somebody from that distance? Like, again, I don't understand.
Here, play this clip.
They come from 10 miles away. Why do they wait till they're straight up on the faces of the protesters in order to unleash and fire, again, what is non-lethal, but still, if you're close enough, right? And if you shoot the person in the right spot, can absolutely still have some severe damage, as we showed yesterday with the Orange County kid that we saw that was blinded in one eye, and how gruesome that was. That was a non-lethal. That was a less than lethal projectile, but still almost took his fucking eye out and definitely caused him permanent blindness for the rest of his life, as he's being told by his doctor.
He knows I see it.
And it's like they can't control themselves either. If one person shoots, they all have to fucking shoot, regardless of who's in danger or not in danger, regardless of who's actually trying to, you know what I mean? It's like when they're all just, they don't know what the fuck to do. They're all so trigger happy. As soon as one shoots, the rest of them are all fucking pop, 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 and they all lose control of the scene, because then everything gets kicked off, everything escalates. Like I said in one of the shorts that I did, I have yet to see a video of a protest or any fucking egregious or violent act that wasn't started and escalated by ICE officers or the government officials themselves. I just haven't. It's just not the case. They either come out every on the hour, every hour to fucking rile shit up, or they're dragging people out of cars when the situation was clearly not that intense to begin with, and they could have very well just continued to communicate with the woman through her open driver's side window, even if it took 10 minutes, even if it took 20 minutes to get her to get out of the fucking road. It's your job. It's your duty to protect the what's happening on the scene, the people around you. So if you have to sit there for 25 fucking minutes and talk to this woman, and that's your fucking job. That's what you do in order to keep the escalation down, to de-escalate and make sure that this doesn't kick off when you got people surrounding you and cameras and fucking your buddies in body armor that are gung-ho, ready to fucking take somebody down. It's crazy that the blatant tactics they're using, even when it's not shooting an American in the face 4 times, even when it's not, blatantly just beating somebody up, just the tactics of walking up on the protesters, again, exercising their First Amendment right and blasting them in the face with non-lethal projectiles. What the fuck is that all about?
You fucking scared, you pussy coward!
Color pellets moved.
Like, what is that? What is this fucking maneuver? What is this what is this move? Right? They come out all the time. They tell them to get back. The crowd moves back about 1.5 inches. They fucking rile shit up. They take people into custody. They shoot people in the face. They go back in the building. An hour later, they come back out. They do the same thing. What changes? What is the point of this? They just go in there to shoot and push people a couple times. Other than that, they're not doing a goddamn thing.
Fucking scare, you pussy coward!
Watch, they just push, yep, push.
Color pellets moved.
But it's not even like they make sure they get the crowd back. They just push people and then they themselves move back. So it's like, what the fuck is the point here? See what I'm saying? It's not like they all in unison rush the line and make sure they drive the line back. They're just going up and pushing random people, and then they're getting back in line. And then they go in and pushing and shooting random people. Then they're getting back in line. It's almost like, hey, take your turn. Pick a fucking liberal you want to punch and shoot, and we'll all go out and we'll take turns punching and shooting what we think are liberals. I mean, what else do you get from this? I don't know. I can't really gather much else.
Fuck you, bitch! Fucking Oompa coward! Fucking what?
Pepper pellets, pepper spray was deployed.
Look at these fucking cowards!
Like, you see, like that one, that's this lady, or, forgive me if I'm misgendering, but it looked like a lady in the flannel there. I mean, she's right up on them. So, like, what is the actual point of going out there and literally, like, terrorizing and abusing this person here just behind me? I'll get out of the way. Like, look at how close they are to the line. You know what I mean? No, like, I don't understand it's literally just intimidation, just fear, just violence, and to make sure that people are scared and don't want to act. You know what I mean? That's just basically the tactics that they're using here. Again, I'll flip on to the next couple. I'm just going to flip through these clips that they've put together again, just for the sake of time in the podcast. I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Here's just another clip they put together.
Flashbangs based on the sound. Well, they're rushing us.
God, what are they doing?
Oh. No.
Is that tear gas or is that no?
It's a gas. Get out of it though. Get recommended if you don't get into it.
I mean, just look at the scene right there. This is, the United States of America, Minnesota, you know what I mean? fucking 2026 January. We're not even what we're halfway through, just more than halfway through the month, the first month of the first month of the year here. And this is what we're looking at on the streets. This is what's going on. Tear gas, smoke grenades, pepper spray, pepper balls, flashbangs, dead Americans, protests, fascistic fucking masked iced Gestapo pieces of shit roaming the streets, literally just to brutalize American citizens, nothing more than that.
They've shot tear gas or gas into the crowds, police.
And it goes on. There's more. This is a pretty long video that they've compiled all this stuff here. Here's one of the interviews that they did.
Well, this is ridiculous. It's a waste of money, a waste of time. All these men out here for what? They're just doing it for money. This is terrible. This is unbelievable. This is the USA. It's not freaking third world country.
Are you here from Minneapolis or Minnesota area?
Yes, I'm Minnesota, born, raised.
I can hear it now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Just in case you ever watch this, I just want to make sure that you know that from fucking Boston, Brian, and everybody at the chat in Blunt Politics, we appreciate what you're doing. We're with you. We're behind you. And thank you.
You betcha.
I love that accent. I always think it's usually a nice person. So
enunciate our words. That's what we do. Yeah. No,
So-
this is too bad. This is not Minnesota.
In this next video we have for you, a swarm of ICE and DHS Gestapo rushed to push and arrest Minneapolis protesters while firing pepper balls. Play this clip.
Wow.
we're back. They formed a line across the street, are trying to push people back on the sidewalks. Arresting someone on the ground here.
For what?
Some pepper.
What jurisdiction do they have? What right do they have to do that right there? This one fucking video. What right do they have to do that? What is the justification? What is the legal justification they have to do this? What the fuck? I mean, just to every now and again go across the street and poach an American citizen for what? I don't know. Just to give him a record? Just to make sure that he has to come back to court to fight? I don't understand. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Sitting here watching even these little small, mundane, minute fucking acts of coming out every 25, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is, to literally kidnap, arrest, and to change the life. You know what I mean? Depending on how hard they press these federal fucking, whatever charges they put on these people. I mean, it could very well, bankrupt somebody at lawyer costs, court fees, depending on what they have to go through. Or is it just a waste of time and they're detaining American citizens and releasing them under their own recognizance and they don't have to do it? Like, is it just a waste of time, just a show of force to threaten you? Because even that's egregious. That's not what they're out there supposed to be doing. So no matter which way you look at it, it's fucking wrong. It's wrong.
Pellets were fired, I believe.
And here's another one.
This is freedom! This is freedom! The Constitution has guidelines for how good the police need to be in law.
See federal officers from the Bureau of Prisons with pepper spray canisters here. The guy with the American flag walking across the line.
The Nazi kid that you can see walking around is getting a little nervous, you can tell. Because it doesn't look like the ICE officers are too and really protect him as much as they've been protecting him. So just on the other side of this little Nazi fuckfire. So watch him. He gets pushed by this kid right here with the American flag. So he gets pushed by the ICE officers. Typically, they're allowed to, I think maybe because they're kind of coming together here that they don't want him in between. But, usually when these ICE officers are on the other side of the street, this kid and his little fucking leprechaun buddy are free to roam and do and instigate and try to fucking, stir up the crowd and do whatever they want. But now he's getting pushed into the same crowd that he's been trying to instigate. And he looks like he's kind of scared.
The Constitution has
So you can see he's getting pushed into the crowd. Now he's like, shit.
See federal officers.
Now he's like, shit. I'm fucking face to face with the people that I didn't want to be face to face with, and they're not happy with it.
From the Bureau of Prisons with pepper spray canisters here. The guy with the American flag walking across the line. He's a right-wing agitator.
They call those Nazis. We call them Nazis here. That's what that is. That's a fucking Nazi. That's a Gestapo defender. That is an Auschwitz camp god right there. That's what he is.
So ICE behind you, ICE.
And again, he thinks he's cheering on ICE. I hope they push him right into the fucking crowd.
trials.
And now he's just being allowed to, again, give the orders that ICE is given. So they're now, ICE is behind him. He's now giving the order to back up on what jurisdiction? Who the fuck are you? What are you talking about? Sorry, can you swallow that fucking big megaphone for me?
New Nuremberg trials. New Nuremberg trials. New Nuremberg trials. New Nuremberg trials.
But again, just a clear fucking, clear piece of evidence that his treatment, a couple people tried to push him back in the crowd, but to the large extent, they're allowing him to just sit there, agitate, give their orders.
New Nuremberg trials. New Nuremberg trials.
And the American people aren't standing for it. They really aren't standing for it. We'll dive into this because this is just a quick CNN clip here, less than 3 minutes long. So bear with me. I know a lot of people cannot stand CNN at this point, but just for the numbers' sake and what they're trying to get across, I just want to play this because this is what the American people are feeling and what they're kind of reporting as far as current polling, recent polling on what what ICE is doing, the activity, the actions, the murders. So let's dive into this real quick and see what the American people are clapping back about.
Hinton is here because, Harry, I do think there are some really interesting numbers that are coming out in terms of what we're seeing in the aftermath of this, of how Americans are feeling about what they're watching.
Yeah, I think there really are, Caitlin. And, I should just start off by saying that Americans at this point do not like ICE. And that is very different from what we saw during Trump's first term. Just take a look here. ICE's net approval rating. In Trump's first term, ICE, kind of lukewarm. You had them right there at a net approval rating of 0 points. Look at where we are today. We're talking about a negative 17-point approval rating. That is a 17-point drop from where we were during Trump's first term. Among independents, the number is even lower in terms of the net approval rating. And why is
And we're talking about in a year, right? Less than a year, because I'm sure that number's probably been like that for quite some time amongst the feelings of the American people, right? But in less than a year, just think of the poll, like how difficult it is and would be for you to, even if you set out, if you were like, okay, as president, I'm going to go in there and my fucking main goal is to go down at least 20 points in the first year on my polling numbers on ICE, right? Or immigration on the whole. It would be a task. It would be a fucking task for you to even attempt to do that purposefully. Never mind just doing things that you think are good and that the American people would like, and that having be like that's the end result is 17 points less than even your first term, in which people really didn't like your immigration policy to begin with. I mean, considering Stephen Miller was heavily involved then too. So again, this is wild to see. And again, go along with all the other polling numbers that we saw, not just the special elections, not just how well the Democrats have overperformed in these, red, purple, even, blue, purple, and even red counties, right? And districts. It's crazy in that regard too. But even the drop in Donald Trump's, just the economy, just the how much he cares about the American people. Like if you look at these broad, generic kind of aspects to his presidency and the amount that they've dropped just in the 11, 12 months or whatever, it's astronomical. It's difficult. It would be difficult if you set out with that goal to try to get the worst numbers possible. He still probably couldn't do it.
That ICE is so unpopular at this point. Well, take a look at our new CNN SSRS poll, and I think this sort of gives the game away. ICE enforcement is making U.S.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you what you need to know, I'm not sure what's going to. So this says ICE enforcement is making U.S. cities, and 51% of the people who voted in this poll said less safe. Right? I don't know. Obviously, that 31% still kind of right in line with the MAGA cult that we've kind of that 20, 25, 30% that typically will, no matter what, vote for Donald Trump's policies, back him up and defend him on his shit. So that's kind of right in line with what we know on that one. And then 18% say it's having little effect. I don't know. I think the people that voted 18% as far as little effect are kind of more delusional than the actual more safe people. At least we know that they're like a cult member and they've been propagandized and they just aren't even living in reality. But the little effect people, like how is it having little effect if it's quite literally leading to mass protest on a daily basis where people are fucking, standing face to face with the federal forces? Like I don't see how that's little effect. Even if you disagree or agree, or if you like or don't like what's happening, like to say that there's been little effect, like I don't know what planet you're fucking living on.
Less safe. Look at this. 51% of Americans say that ICE enforcement is in cities is making those cities less safe. That includes 59% of Americans who live in cities, compared to just 31% who say that, in fact, ICE enforcement is making U.S. cities more safe. So what we see here is Trump and ICE losing this argument over ICE going into cities, making them more safe. Now, of course, the ICE discussion is part of a larger argument, right?
It's not just the conversation. It's not just the discussion they're losing. It's the fucking facts of the matter. It's what's taking place in front of our own eyes, what we're hearing with our ears, what you're seeing on your screens, right? What's being reported on the fucking nightly news, what's being reported by, incredible independent fucking, reporters and commentators and podcasters all over the fucking place. It's not just a conversation they're losing. It's actual, like, reality they're losing. It's facts that they're losing.
A larger discussion about immigration enforcement in this country. And, when it comes to Donald Trump, remember,
we'll end on this last thing. I'll let him go through, and then we'll dive on to our next story. But, just to kind of really hammer this point home.
On immigration in all three of his presidential bids. It's a big reason why he got elected the first time around, won that Republican nomination. It was a strength for him earlier on during his second term. Look at this. His net approval rating, according to our CNN polling, was at plus 3 points on the positive side of the ledger. But look at where it is now. It is way underwater at 16 points on the negative side of the equation.
So a 19-point swing right there, again, in just overall net approval on migration. And again, if that doesn't give you a clear-cut answer as to what the American people are feeling right now, then again, just look on your TV screen, type in Minnesota, type in Minneapolis, type in the protests that have been taking place in Boston, New York, Chicago, LA, San Diego, you name it. And then maybe that'll kind of drive it home more. But let's dive on to our next little story, because he's now once again threatening the people of Minnesota, not only the people of Minnesota, but the lawmakers, right? The politicians, right? The people that, make the fucking city and state run. He's actively pressuring and threatening them now, calling them agitators, insurrectionists. We talked about yesterday how he, how he threatened the Insurrection Act, and what that would entail and what that would mean, and how I don't think he would get the response that he was kind of hoping for, or is hoping for, if he were to do that. So again, this is just a quick little True Social stinkhole post that he put on there. This is from today at, I believe, 10:38 a.m. And it says, in Minnesota, the troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists, all of those capitalized for some strange, unknown, ridiculous reason, are in many cases highly and paid professionals. Again, no. The governor and mayor do not know what to do. They have totally lost control and are currently being rendered useless. If and when I am forced to act, it will be solved quickly and effectively. And again, that's just another blatant threat put on social media, put on True Stinkhole by Donald Trump, going after, again, the governor, the mayor, anybody that doesn't agree with what ICE is doing, anybody that's combating what ICE is doing right now. And it's not that the governor and the mayor don't know what to do. It's that they do know what to do. It's just that they're worried at the response they're going to get from the federal agents and the permission that you'd give them to combat the state and local law enforcement. You see what I'm saying there? So again, to a certain extent, these local and state law enforcement people have been put in a pretty difficult position. I do, but that doesn't mean that they still don't have the right to self-determination and to be able to think for themselves and to act accordingly to what they know is right and legal. That's not an excuse in my eyes. So I just wanted to make sure that we threw that on the screen to reiterate the fact that he's still threatening the Insurrection Act, still threatening politicians, lawmakers, and people that run these cities and states. Again, if they go against anything that he's now doing with DHS, with ICE, with Homeland Security, the recruitment of white nationalists, the deployment of, again, these federal officers onto the cities and streets of our fucking, in our country to round up and to brutalize and murder American citizens. Anybody that goes against that, Donald Trump has a word for them, and it's called an insurrectionist, apparently. But again, if anybody should know what an insurrectionist is, that would be Donald Trump and the GOP and the people on the Republican Party. So, at what point do you question them? All right, so this is just a quick story. This is Trump getting mocked about his Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if you guys saw this. Do I have like a little clip? I don't know if I have the little clip. He might show it in this, but this is, again, the party that does not like participation trophies, the people that rail against, giving people a leg up and not, making people pull themselves up by their bootstraps and, giving somebody a trophy just because they did something, even though they didn't win. Like, that's what the Republicans are bitching and complaining and moaning about on a daily fucking basis, to the large extent. But These same people are now applauding the fact that Donald Trump has accepted a Nobel Peace Prize that he did not earn, that he did not win. And this is one of the more pathetic scenes that I've ever seen. And this is just a quick pondering politics video. And I'm just going to go through the first couple minutes where he kind of shows the clip and talks about it a little bit. And this is Trump mocked over Nobel Peace Prize participation trophy. And again, if you haven't seen this, this is just one of the more utterly pathetic moments in Donald Trump's existence. And we know how pathetic that's been. So that's saying something. Again, this is Josiah from Pondering Politics. If you're not following him, I highly recommend you following him over there at his channel. So again, let's dive into just a minute or two of this and we can laugh at Donald Trump. How about that?
Donald Trump was just given the ultimate participation trophy. It's stunning to know that the world's most powerful man is also objectively the world's biggest snowflake. Trump is fragile and petty and petulant and entitled.
Look at the smile on that son of a bitch's face. Look at the smile. And again, this is the same woman that he said had no respect in Venezuela. Right, she was supposed to be like established as the new leader, the rightful president to take her fucking throne, the heir to it. That's what everybody, instead of again just installing a new Maduro regime person, right? Just installing somebody else from the Maduro regime. So we've just kind of taken away Maduro to, you know, to install one of its acolytes. And again, we've seen reprisals, we've seen repression. We've seen fucking chaos on the streets. And again, remember how all those Republicans and everybody was cheering, oh, the Venezuelans, oh, the shut the fuck up liberals. You're mad and the Venezuelans are so happy. Well, that changed very fucking quickly on the streets of Caracas and elsewhere in Venezuela, just like we said it was gonna, just like we warned them it was gonna. And again, we had no problem whatsoever with them celebrating their freedom in the end of the reign of Maduro. But again, only to install the devil that was already there anyway, hired by a devil in the United States. And again, sometimes the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't. Right? So let's go on. But look at how pathetic this is. Look at the smile. Holding somebody else's Nobel Peace Prize is got to be one of the most pathetic things you could possibly do. And like literally passing it off as your own. But again, nobody puts anything past this fucking moron. Nothing's beneath him. He has no ability to be shamed or embarrassed. It's incredible. It really is. Because nobody else on earth would ever do this. Nobody. Has it ever been done? Like, I know some people could probably like dedicate it or whatever the fuck they want or say this person deserved it or whatever. But to go to the extent of like putting it in a case, handing it to him, going to the White House, shaking hands, to a guy that, again, said that you have no respect in your home country is wild.
Has been clamoring for a Nobel Peace Prize for years, presumably because Barack Hussein Obama got one, and anything Obama has, Trump wants. Obama was president, so Trump wanted to be president. Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize, so Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize. The 2025 Nobel Peace Prize went to a woman by the name of Maria Machado, the Venezuelan resistance leader. She dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump, and then she just handed it over to him. Her Nobel Peace Prize, gifted it to him.
We all know why this is happening. Like, this is clearly to gain favor with Donald Trump again, to in some hopes that he's still going to install her as the leader of Venezuela, or at least get some, I don't want to say like cushy position, but, you know, the highest level position that she could possibly get if and when, you know, this Maduro regime is finally toppled in her eyes, right? Excuse me. But that's what's going on here. This is clear cut fucking licking the taint, kissing the boot, whatever you want to call it, you know, sucking on the, you know, dragging on the coattails, that whatever you, I mean, again, brown nosing, call it what you will, but this is clear a cut example of exactly that. And trying to be, okay, I'm gonna appease you in every way possible, that everybody knows you can, again, just get on the good side of Donald Trump, give him something gold, tell him he won some fake fucking prize, give him, I don't know, some sort of acolyte or, you know, accommodation to something. And again, you'll be fucking set. That's all you got to do. No matter what you want, you'll be set. And she's learned that through the use and, you know, through the fucking turmoil that other world leaders have kind of gone through with Donald Trump. And everybody has seemed to kind of figure it out now. Like, let me just appease him. And hopefully I get what I want at the end of it, or at least it'll keep him off my radar and he won't be kind of talking shit about me on Truth Social at the very least.
It doesn't transfer in terms of the actual title, but she handed him the medal. She physically gave him the medal. And here you see Trump just cheesing away the ultimate participation trophy boy, the embodiment of the very attitude and ethic and ethos that the right and MAGA and Republicans have railed against for years, embodied in their leader. How embarrassing for Trump, for Machado, quite frankly, and for the right.
It
writ
really
large.
is. He's
We have to talk-
100% right. He's 100% right. Because again, this is a woman that got no respect from Donald Trump. Nothing whatsoever. Was Donald Trump clearly came out in front of the world and said she doesn't have the respect of the people. She could never be installed as a leader. It wouldn't work. That's why, that's why the other Maduro acolyte has been fucking, appointed, because they would not go to bat for this woman. They would not go to bat for Machado. And now she thinks, at the end of all this, she can come in and try to kind of, right the wrongs that have been done and appease him. And hopefully something comes out of this later or in the, sometime down the line.
Talk about this. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.
And I just want to play it. I think he plays as like a little clip here. If not, it might just be the picture, and then we can dive on to the to where Donald Trump's sitting here talking about having no elections, which again, something very important.
Put this picture up, I guess, thinking it was cool and epic and dignified when it was anything but. They posted this. Donald J. Trump meets with Maria Corina Machado of Venezuela in the Oval Office, during which she presented Trump with her Nobel Peace Prize in recognition and honor. And again, there you see.
Oh my God, it is so fucking cringe, dude. That is the most cringeworthy thing that you will see on the internet, at least today. That is just absolutely asinine. Like, hey, Gramps, you won the yearly bingo challenge at the home. Here's your plaque. But really, it was Bernadette that won, but she passed away. But she said she wanted you to have it, even though you didn't participate. You didn't win a single fucking game the whole year. But here, she wanted you to have it, and that's the face he's given.
It's like, oh my God, I got one finally. I mean, it's stunning. It's very much, all he needs is like the little beanie with a propeller hat on top of it and a little backpack, and it's just. He's just the most fragile 11-year-old boy trapped in the body of an 80-year-old man.
Great way to describe it too, but that 11-year-old boy trapped in the body of an 80-year-old man is still quite fucking dangerous, and we need to take it. We need to make sure that we're staying and making sure that we're understanding that he's getting more dangerous as he becomes more unhinged, as he becomes older, as his cognitive abilities just are absolutely evaporating before our eyes. And again, saying things like this is just another thing that we need to pay attention to. This is a Mediaite article from this morning, from yesterday, my apologies, January 15, 2026 by Zachary Lehman. And it says, Trump tells Reuters we shouldn't even have an election ahead of midterms. Right. So we'll go on. We'll read just a paragraph or two from this, and then we can go on to Caroline Leavitt's bullshit and propaganda related to Donald Trump's comments about these elections. And we can see how she tries to spin, these kind of, this kind of talk. So it says here, let me put this on the screen for you guys. There we go. Is that big enough? Can you guys read that? So Donald Trump mused that, quote, we shouldn't even have an election in an interview with Reuters published on Thursday. During the sit down, the president, quote, expressed frustration that his Republican Party could lose the control of the U.S. House of Representatives or the Senate in this year's midterm elections. Donald Trump noted that the president's party often takes some midterm losses after a presidential victory. It's some deep psychological thing, but when you win the presidency, you don't win the midterms, he said. Reuters then noted that Trump expressed that his administration had accomplished so much already that, quote, when you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election. Right. So Trump also spoke about Greenland, his desire to absorb Greenland, the ongoing protests in Iran, which we'll be speaking about. The president previously promised anti-government protesters in Iran that help was on the way amid reports of authorities killing thousands of demonstrators. Speaking to reporters this week, Trump suggested that the killing was stopping, leading to backlash among his own party members. Trump was non-committal in his Reuters interview about future plans regarding Iran. We have to play it day by day. But again, the main point of this is him saying that we shouldn't even have an election. Right. And again, whether or not he's being facetious, whether or not he was just but he's thrown that out there in more ways than one. He's got people surrounding him that have thrown that out there in more ways than one. Steve Bannon and others like him telling everybody that that's not a fucking joke. Right. So you got half the people that are saying it like, oh, don't take him seriously. Oh, don't worry about it. That Trump 2028 hat doesn't really mean much. It's just a fucking thing to piss off liberals. And then you got people that are actually really close, or at one point were really close with Donald Trump, quite clearly saying, no. We're absolutely fucking, that's what we're trying to do. You got politicians. Who was the asshole that we played? We played a clip from one of the Republican dickheads that was like too scared to answer the question. It wasn't Rand Paul. Was it the... Who's the schmuck from Arkansas? Is it one of the Arkansas senators, one of the schmucks from on the Republican side, basically saying, well, we'll have to take a look at the language. And if Donald Trump thinks he's got a way around the Constitution, then that's something he should be able to explore. Like all of this non-committal bullshit rhetoric that are clearly setting the stage for Donald Trump to at least attempt, at the very least, something fucking shady when it comes to either midterms or general elections. And again, this is the propaganda usage of Caroline KKK. A lot of K's coming in here. A lot of K's. There was 3 K's to begin with, but it's ramped up so much we got to start adding more K's to Caroline's name. But yeah, this is the propaganda bullshit that you can get from, again, the White House press secretary here in her trying to, again, defend. Remember when Donald Trump first came in office and a lot of people, like the main thing that you would hear from people that supported Donald Trump was, oh, I know he said that, but what he really meant was this. Like, you remember that? And it happens. It's kind of slowed down because people have gone not more comfortable, but it's been more normalized, his rhetoric, the shit he says. So, but at the beginning it was like, oh, I know he said this, but that's not really what he meant. What he was trying to say was this. Well, now they're back to that because Donald Trump's cognitive state has gotten so fucking bad that now I think we're going to start getting back into these people having to, again, reword Donald Trump's phrases, speak for Donald Trump to a larger extent, keep him, again, away from the press to a larger extent, trying to keep him either early in the morning or late at night, and keep his schedule as tight to the midday as possible, or whatever he calls midday, that is. But here's Caroline Leavitt being asked directly about Donald Trump's comments about not having an election, something that, again, he's mentioned several times before, several other people have mentioned before, as it being a very serious thing, and they weren't kidding. So let's hear how she tries to spin this.
My question is, President Trump has talked twice in recent days, once at the Kennedy Center and then to Reuters again last night, about canceling the election. Why is he talking about this?
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking. He was saying, we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought. Maybe we should just keep rolling. But he was speaking. Yeah,
and that's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. Is it funny to joke about, again, defying the Constitution of America, defying the will of the people? Is that a joke? Did you laugh at that joke? Because I know you have just an unbelievable sense of humor, considering the way that your lips look in the mirror, and considering how old your husband is, and considering how old you are compared to how old you look. And you must have a great fucking sense of humor. I know. So did you laugh at that one? No? Didn't? No. Okay.
Facetiously.
Wait just a second. We have one more thing to share.
And again, just to kind of drive home the point of, oh, are we kidding? Are we joking? Is she joking? Don't take it seriously. Check this out.
Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, Steve Bannon, just one more time?
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So I'm sorry. Caroline Leavitt said he was joking. Just one more time.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
But
there's many different.
Caroline Leavitt would have you believe it's just a joke. Don't worry about the hat. Don't worry about Steve Bannon here. Clearly, without an inkling of being joking, without an inkling of fucking being facetious or not being serious whatsoever. Quite clearly saying that you better get fucking used to it. And Donald Trump's definitely going to have a third term. So again, whether that's feasible, whether that's even capable, whether they're going to, whether it's capable, it's a different story. But whether they're going to attempt it, I think is becoming, ever more clear, pretty evident that something at least is going on behind the scenes to try to make sure that at least the seeds are being laid, like the groundwork is being laid for when this inevitably does happen. Like it's not the first time that people hear about it, right? It's not going to be like a shock to the system. It's going to be something that, oh, he said that before, and people maybe are going to be unsure if he's serious or not, and then all of a sudden something's going to happen and it'll be too late. So again, something that we absolutely need to stay on top of, as Caroline Leavitt says, don't worry about it. Again, just to drive it home one more time, here's Steve Bannon. I know you can only see his fucking fucked up face and chin, but that's about all you'd need to see. But here he is, just from the mouth of the horse.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about?
Okay, so just wanted to make sure everybody's really clear and concise on what they may be attempting, what they're saying they're going to be attempting, compared to, again, the rhetoric of the propaganda chief, Caroline Leavitt. So again, let's dive into, I know there was a few clips from this morning that this asshole also had where he spoke to reporters before he left. I think he worked like half a day today, and he's gone to Mar-a-Lago back for more, I don't know, dog face parties, some more fucking fluff parties that he's got going on there. Some weird shit taking place at Mar-a-Lago lately, people. We showed that on the show yesterday. If you're wondering, go back and take a look while you're struggling to, again, put food on the table, while you're struggling to be like, wow, shit, how am I going to fucking fill my gas tank to even get to the kids to school? Or how am I going to fill my gas tank or even pay the car note to even fucking think about putting gas in the tank while you're worried about all that shit and so much more? Donald Trump and his acolytes are fucking partying it up in dog mask and aristocratic outfits, with the 1%. But this is just a couple clips, again, from this morning. Asen had a couple posted. Let's fly through any of these. I know he's talking about NATO, one of these, so I kind of want to dive into that, see what he kind of is saying about NATO, because we do have a clip coming up here where he's actively threatening our NATO allies. With, again, if they have any action or have any defiance toward the United States literally taking over Greenland. Donald Trump's threatening, I believe, again, like I said, he uses Germany as an example of putting 7x tariffs on Germany if they don't allow the United States to, just walk into Greenland and take it over. So we'll get into that next. But here's just a couple clips from this morning. Donald Trump before he left for Mar-a-Lago once again. This is reporter, and the reporter asked, will you pull out of NATO if it doesn't help you acquire Greenland? And then Trump, we'll hear Trump's response here. You might want to turn this up. Twitter sucks, just like Elon Musk, just like Donald Trump, and the sound is shit. But unfortunately, that's where these things get posted. So turn your volume up. I'll let it play, and then we'll talk about it on the flip side.
Healthcare at a much reduced.
Pull out of NATO if it doesn't help you acquire Greenland.
Well, we're going to see. NATO has been dealing with us on Greenland. We need Greenland for national security very badly. If we don't have it, we have a big hole in national security, especially when it comes to what we're doing in terms of the Golden Dome and all of the other things. We have a lot of investments in military.
I mean, that sounds important, right, guys? It's going to leave a big hole in our national security. I can't tell you why, because it really doesn't make sense as to why I would say that. And not only that, but Jesus Christ, it's also going to be like, the Golden Dome that we're going to be building. Like, how can we build that without Greenland? You can't have a big metal plate over the United States and not have it cover Greenland as well. Like, this fucking guy, his brain's literally leaking out of his feet at this current moment. So again, this is the best that he could put together as far as words and sentences. So,
strongest military in the world that is only getting stronger. And you saw that with Venezuela. You saw that with the attack on Iran.
Once again, threatening the power, the might, the capabilities of the United States military against NATO. Against our NATO allies, against allies that have Nordic alliances that don't even include us, that Donald Trump's probably not even thinking about, that we talked about on the show. Again, above and beyond the NATO alliance, there are Nordic alliances with these countries in the surrounding areas and pacts that they have to defend one another. Laws and rules and regulations of shooting fucking first anybody that steps foot onto that fucking piece of territory without permission or is coming to, cause harm or take over territory. They're not going to wait till you land. They're fucking firing first. Again, this ain't no Caracas cakewalk. It's going to be. And this is as dangerous as it's ever gotten, as crazy as it's ever gotten with this NATO going to war with Donald Trump. Excuse me, I should rephrase that. The Donald Trump and the United States going to war with NATO. My apologies on that one. Shouldn't put that backwards because that's not the way it's going down. But, I mean, here's just another example. Here's Donald Trump. Here's a quick clip where he's talking about threatening our allies, how he called almost all of our allies to put pressure on them, to threaten them with tariffs, exorbitant tariffs, if they didn't just allow us to waltz into Greenland. And again, listen to this quick clip. And this is the pressure he's putting on NATO allies, long-lasting economic partners, trade partners, military partners. Listen.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that. I just went one after another. I called Germany. No, we will not do that. They said, no, we're going to put a 25% tariff, which is, by the way, about 7 times more than they would have to pay by raising their drug, like 7 times.
Punishing a country that now we're actively affiliated with in the fight against Russia, or at least we should be, right? We're now actively going to punish them on a different fucking scale while trading with the United States, as we're trying to be partners with them, as we're trying to be allies, military allies, and fight and use our might together to fight the Russians against, that are actively still killing Ukrainians on a nightly basis. And this is what's taking place on the fucking on another page. Like how do you justify that? How do you put those two things together?
This wasn't like a little bit more, 7 times more. And I may do that for Greenland too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that.
So again, allies, trade allies, economic allies, military allies, allies that have stepped up and have been there for us, have gone to war with us, right? And that's who we're now threatening to make sure that they don't step up or react or defend or do anything to stop Donald Trump's fucking maniacal plan to, again, invade Greenland and take it over as a U.S. territory. It's hard to drill home just how wild and crazy like this situation is, as far as like, again, trying to add another layer onto the difficult situation that NATO and the European Union that already face in conjunction with trying to work with the United States, fighting against Russia and his cohorts in the countries and dictators that support him. Like to add this on to all of that, and to then try to say that you care about the Ukrainian people, you care about ending the Ukraine war, the war in Ukraine, is fucking asinine. Is absolutely asinine. And anybody listening to what he's saying and then spitting out and regurgitating the same bullshit and trying to justify that just looks like a complete and utter fucking moron. And there's just no other way to put it. And speaking of looking like a complete and utter moron, here's a good segue. Here's Michael Knowles, formerly of the Daily Wire, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure where his fucking pathetic Trump licking ass is actually affiliated with at this moment in time. But it's fucking irrelevant. Doesn't matter, because he's a schmuck. He's a fucking pipsqueak piece of shit. And Kyle Kulinski absolutely gets the better of him here. Now, there's 2 ways that we could cover this. Here's the kind of the whole Piers Morgan clip. And then we got another, I know Josiah has a couple clips kind of digging into it as well. So would you guys rather, for the sake of time, use Josiah's video and go through the clips, or would you rather kind of dig through Pierce's videos on our own? I think for the sake of time, using Josiah's kind of video as a compilation would probably be the way to go. I'll probably make that decision. Why don't we just use this, because I'm sure he put all the main parts in here. So we'll just dive into this one, and then again we'll go into some updates from Artur Rehi about what's taking place in Ukraine and how even Russian horses don't want to be Russian anymore. And we'll, that'll make more sense when we dive into that. But let's go. Once again, Josiah from Pondering Politics. We're going to double dip today on Josiah's videos. And this is more from the Kyle Kulinski humiliating MAGA goon, Michael Knowles on Piers Morgan show. And let's go.
Friend of the show and progressive political commentator Kyle Kulinski brutally roasted and humiliated right-wing ghoul Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire on topics such as
now, is it me, or does Kulinski look like he just stepped off the set of fucking Casino? Like, is he an extra for Joe Pesci, De Niro in Casino? Like, is this Ace? What's you know what I mean? I mean, God bless him. Everybody needs their shtick, right? Everybody needs a little way to kind of separate themselves and to stand out. So God love him. I'm not against wearing sunglasses inside. I mean, I wear my sunglasses at night. I'm a ZZ Top motherfucker. So anyway, but again, just with the silver tie, the suit, like, definitely looks like he just stepped out of fucking Bugsy Siegel's Casino. But all right, let him go, because he does cook in this one. He does cook.
Change war in Venezuela and the murder of Renee Good at the hands of an ICE.
Settle down in the chat there. Hey, fucking settle down, Patty. Get a room. I'm just kidding. Appreciate you.
Agent. And he did so utterly that even the other right-wingers on the panel, Coleman Hughes, Dave Smith, and Piers Morgan, really struggled to have Michael Knowles' back, and in many cases seemed more sympathetic with Kyle's position than Knowles. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells.
Which one is I've seen which one is Corey Hott? Is he up on that panel? I've seen that name go by a couple times. I'm not familiar with the name. Maybe he's one of the people on the panel. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Go. All right, folks, we have several clips to play here on 2 very important topics, so let's jump right on in.
Normally, unfortunately, been very badly done. But this is what I meant when I said to Dave that I understand the argument. I may not agree with all of it, but I do understand the logic to what Trump is doing here. Do you?
No, because we don't have a right to act like this around the world. We're supposed to be a nation among nations, not a nation above nations. And they used to at least lie to us in the past and say that this is good for the world and we're spreading freedom and democracy. Now they don't even bother.
Oh, my bad. My apologies. I was thinking, I was totally off on that one. I wasn't even thinking ZZ Top. That had already totally left my brain. For some reason, I was back focused on the panel. My apologies. Didn't even put 2 and 2 to make 4 on that one. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody, for filling me in. Sorry, I was lost on that one.
To lie. Now it's naked, rank, disgusting imperialism where they say we're going to take the oil and the point.
Oh, just get off my case, everybody. Fuck. Christ, I got one thing wrong. You're all over me. But you're 100% right. My apologies.
Is that we're going to take the oil, we're going to take the minerals, we're going to take the precious metals. We're doing this for our corporations. We're doing it for the Epstein class, the billionaires. And this, to piggyback on what Dave Smith said, is frankly not what many of the MAGA voters thought they were signing up for. They thought America First actually meant America First. By the way, you also replaced the Maduro regime with the Maduro regime. Congratulations on that. It's also been now a week straight of pro-regime protests. Now you have roving gangs of Venezuelan militias that are kidnapping Americans.
And again,
I come back to the fundamental
great to
point.
bring up on Pierce's show, right? Because that's the thing that right-wingers aren't going to go to the second step about. And again, we brought it up earlier how they were like, fucking yelling at liberals and progressives. Oh, you guys are so upset about this. Meanwhile, look at the people in the streets of, the Venezuelans in the streets of Florida. They were using fake videos. They were using AI videos. They were using videos from like soccer matches fucking 10 years ago, right? To try to make it look like there was more celebratory moods. There was more celebratory action going on. And we rightfully so said, all right, the people that are celebrating, not going to stomp on their freedom, not going to, tell them that they can't be, happy and free from oppression. But again, just beware of what could take place. And that's exactly what's happened. So you're not going to get that secondary reporting from the MAGA, from the conservative commentators of actually telling you the updates of what's taking place on the streets of Caracas in Venezuela right this second. After, again, the so-called celebratory mood has faded. And again, the Maduro regime that is still in place to a large extent has continued its reprisals, has continued its fucking, brutal, treatment of its citizens.
Which is, if you sign on to stuff like this, you're saying might makes right and the law of the jungle is back. What you're saying is China has a right to go into whatever smaller country they want and depose the leader and say we're doing it because we can and we have the right to do it and we have bigger guns and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So they're never going to address that fundamental question, which is why do we have a right? Do we actually believe in international law or was that all a joke? Are we rolling the clock back to the 1700s and the 1800s and we're going super primitive style here? And I think the answer to that is yes, they want to go super primitive style.
So there's more to this.
Michael Knowles tries to clap back with some like, oh, well, international law goes back to antiquity. Okay, well, what did that look like? What did the world look like back in antiquity, right? Has it changed a little bit? Do you think there's like different ways to approach, the way the standard of living that we have now compared to, again, when these, the very fucking, the first baby international laws were actually kind of conceived of, not to mention the League of Nations, right? So because of when the League of Nations collapsed, that's when we fucking the United Nations. That's when we started fucking, different allied and partnerships and, different trade agreements and making sure that international law and, humanitarian, fucking aspects of the world actually remains kind of somewhat civil to this extent. But these people are just saying, screw all of that, screw NATO, screw the United Nations, screw the League of Nations, screw everybody that believes in international law. This is now just, the king of the jungle type of aspect. If you got the biggest guns, if you got the motive, if you got the fucking means, and you got the ability to go into another territory that surrounds you and fucking kill all the people, overthrow the regime and steal all their natural resources, then guess what? You have the tacit permission now from the United States to go ahead and do that. That's kind of the point that Kyle was making. But again, Michael Knowles tries to bring it back to this like antiquity aspect and again, just tried to obfuscate the point and talk about these other fucking ridiculous type of notions that don't make any sense, but use big words to make it seem like he knows what he's talking about.
I'm gonna skip this ad by Piers to go to the other part of this where Knowles jumps in because he tries to quibble. Well, listen, technically, international law predates the reorganization of the world in the aftermath of the Second World War. That's not Kyle's point. International law, as we understand it today, has its genesis in the global reformation.
Right. Again, the Geneva Conventions, there's so many different ways that you could point out just in the, in recent memory, not we're not talking the last 10, 20 years, but, closer than antiquity for damn sure, Michael Knowles, in how we've come up with these laws, we've come up with these ways of living, even to the extent of how war should be conducted and the rules of engagement, right? The treatment of POWs, again, the Geneva Conventions to a large extent kind of, laid the groundwork for that, the foundation for that. But to say that these could all be thrown out now, and it's just, again, like Kyle said, might is right, the king of the jungle, whoever has the biggest guns, the most ships, whoever can, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically what they want to go back to now.
Made in the aftermath of the Second World
And
War.
the problem with that is if the United States goes back to that, everybody else in the world goes back to that too. It's not just the United States that will get to play by our own set of rules. This is going to be, every dictator, every, autocrat, every fucking thug and gang leader that rules some sort of military fucking force right now is going to do everything that they possibly can to acquire the biggest guns, the most, the biggest force, so that they can go in and take over the territory or overthrow a regime or take some natural resources. I mean, you name it, and that this is pretty much permission for them to do it.
What Kyle is appealing to.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually,
point,
there were some international laws that preceded the Second World War. Yeah, we get it, but not in any recognizable state compared to what we're used to today. So let's hear the rest of this.
Creation of modernity, whether we're talking about the 1700s or the 20th century.
The Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg Tribunal, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal.
Yes, those exist, but international laws, the Jus Gentium goes back to antiquity.
However, the Jus Gentium, fuck you, buddy. Stick your Jus Gentium up your use anus. How about that? Fucking, I don't know what you use when you're gentian them, but fucking take that word and beat feet. Because not only was that not the question, not only is that not the point, but you don't fucking seem smart when, again, you're just totally dodging the question to begin with. So take your fucking, take your dictionary and fucking hit the bricks, kid.
The League of Nations liberal friends think history began a few decades ago.
The League of Nations was useless. It fell apart, and that's why we had the UN. That's why we had the Geneva Convention.
Right, I'm talking about millennia ago,
because we looked
not
at
merely
piles of millions
but it's true.
of
Woodrow
dead
Wilson
bodies.
Again, Michael Knowles, millennia ago. Now, can you please tell me as to what aspect anything that happened millennia ago relates to what's taking place today, and how the rules, regulations, and these like infantile fucking laws that were in like their again infancy at that point? How do they pertain to today's society? How do they pertain to governments today and nations today, and how, economics and trade works today? Oh, it doesn't? Okay, so what the fuck are you talking about again? Why are you bringing that up? Curious.
And we said that's a bad idea. We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said that's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. Let's actually have a framework and rules and laws. And Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing boats from Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, and Colombia. He just did the regime change in Venezuela. He bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and Iran. He's threatening Greenland and Panama and Canada and Cuba and Mexico.
Well, I guess at this point you have to say alleged drug boats. I mean, I've seen, again, nothing proving to a reasonable standard that absolutely these people were responsible for not only carrying drugs, but their intent was to bring it to the United States. So again, alleged.
There the whole time and act like it's okay. Is there anything Trump can do, Michael Knowles, that you would say, I condemn it, and you hop off the Trump train, or are you going to tickle his taint for the rest of your fucking life?
No, there have been plenty of Trump policies that I've criticized because he's only right about 99.78% of the time. So
oh my God. I mean, what a fucking dick rider you have to be. What an absolute fucking lap licker you have to be. Like, the biggest taint sniffer on the planet wouldn't tell somebody they were right 99% of the time. That's, I mean, it just, you give the game away at that point. You give away the fact that you're so biased, right? You're so one-sided in your beliefs that it's not even worth having a conversation. Because anybody that says anybody is right 98% of the time is just clearly a fucking moron doing the bidding of whatever agenda has been force-fed to them because of the money that they make in the background. There's just no other fucking way around it.
First Step Act, I thought,
Such
was a misstep. But I would say the rest. Excuse me. I would say the rest of the.
He's calling him a cuck. I love it. He's calling him a cuck, and he's 1,000% right.
Policies that I've criticized because he's only right about 99.78% of the time. So the First Step Act, I thought, was a misstep. But I would say the rest. Excuse me. I would say the rest of the the administration.
He's literally goggling the microphone for Michael Knowles. I love it.
But I would say the rest. Excuse me. I would say the rest of the the administration.
That's the best way to put it. Again, making fun of these losers, mocking them to their face. I think that this is the posture to have. Good on Kyle for bringing the heat. So
again, another thing that you've heard repeatedly since we started this fucking podcast. We're here to mock, ridicule, embarrass, harass, intimidate, fucking violate in any way possible, shape, way, form, entity. I don't care what it is. Any of these fucking Nazi Gestapo pricks, any of these Republican conservative motherfuckers that are supporting this bullshit. That's what we're here for. So I appreciate Josiah pointing that out. But again, something that you've been privy to for a long time here, which is another reason why you should fucking subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Couple of things. First, when he says that the Trump administration can't even get its shit together to make a cogent.
Yeah, just for time's sake, let's go on. I think there's a couple other clips here as well. Let's see. Is this one from Dave Smith?
It's just so much worse. And good on Kyle for also pointing out, because he's one of the most consistent voices in this respect, alongside Mehdi Hassan and Destiny, about making the case that, Trump is not this dovish America first. Indeed, that Michael Knowles, like, number one, we don't know they're drugged. Number two, means you should interdict and on those boats, up, and then circling back around to do a double tap, right? Again, just inflate.
But by that, hang on,
that Trump
by that
got
logic,
Biden's policy done.
Well, by that logic, Michael, why should President Xi not be able to go into Taiwan and take the leader and put him in a Chinese courtroom? By that logic.
Can I address that, Piers? He's got no answer, Piers.
I'm happy to answer.
Well, let Michael answer.
I can stop interrupting before. Yes.
So again, in case anybody didn't hear, the question is, what now that Donald Trump has undertaken these, these actions, what is now stopping Xi Jinping from saying, okay, I have the ability and the forces to go into Taiwan, is the question.
The only reason that Xi has not gone into Taiwan so far is because the United States has told Xi not to. From the point of international law.
Well, I beg to differ. I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump just recently came out and said he'd be, quote unquote, I think he said he'd be upset. I don't think it was like, hey, don't do that. It was actually definitely not the rhetoric of, hey, don't do that or else. It was more like, well, if he does, he can, I'd be very upset. You know what I mean? But that again doesn't say there'd be a response other than like a strongly worded fucking letter or, a strongly worded phone call, which again, I'm not sure Xi Jinping really gives a fuck about. So I'm not sure what this response has to do with anything.
There's also another confusion because international law is a real thing. Many of my fellow conservatives want to pretend that there is no such thing as international law and that might merely makes right. But that's not true. Law is an ordinance of reason, so we can actually know something about it, and it objectively exists, even though it's not material. However, what passes for international law these days, specifically over the last 100 or so years, is a bunch of liberal gobbledygook nonsense, which even my friend here, Kyle Kulinski, points
that fucking the Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg trial, like just this gobbledygook fucking liberal nonsense of like, don't commit fucking crimes against humanity. The specific in a humane treatment of prisoners of war and what what they're entitled to, what you have to give them, the treatment that you have to respect. All of these different rules and obligations. It's just all this liberal gobbledygook to make sure that we don't have another Holocaust like we saw in World War II, or crimes against humanity like we saw in World War II in instances sense, right? I think the last one was Vratko Mladic, if I'm not mistaken, the last person to be tried at The Hague for crimes against humanity, war crimes, was Ratko Mladic, if I'm not mistaken, in the Bosnia, in Bosnia there. So fucking, I don't know what to tell you. It's absolutely happened more recently than just that, and it's absolutely been used to, again, seek accountability and justice for people more recent than World War II or antiquity, as Michael Knowles would have you. And it has absolutely served a purpose.
That doesn't work, which is why the League of Nations failed and the UN has largely failed. So there is such a thing as natural law, but it is effected through political powers. And right now, the only
What does this answer mean? So he goes on to justify international law while also saying that it's liberal gobbledygook, while also justifying clear-cut and concise actions by Donald Trump in the United States that violated international law, that violated our own rules and regulations in the United States on how we're supposed to conduct acts of war. But it seems like he's trying to play both sides of the fence here. Well, oh yeah, I respect international law, but it's also liberal gobbledygook. We got to respect it, but we can also not respect it when it's Donald Trump doing it. But then we got to respect it afterwards. Like, none of it again makes sense, and it typically never does. But that's what we need to recognize from these morons.
Stopping Xi from going into Taiwan, the only thing that has stopped Vladimir Putin from running roughshod over Ukraine is not some abstract.
I'm sorry, what is what?
concept in the clouds. It's the might of the United States empire and our allies around the world.
I'm sorry. You think right now that Vladimir Putin is in any way afraid of the United States, quote unquote, empire in their, again, interdiction in what's happening in Ukraine? You honestly think that Vladimir Putin is worried about Donald Trump in the United States? Because they've clearly let him go on this long. He's clearly been unable to stop the war in 24 hours, like he said. So why? And after all of the deadlines and all of the fucking, the pauses and pushbacks that they've given Vladimir Putin in Russia, the ability they've given him to kind of restock, rearm, reload, regroup, and then go back in. They've given them ample opportunity. You can talk about the number of dead civilians and dead military members in Ukraine since Donald Trump took over. I mean, any number of aspects that we could point to that would point to and lead me to believe that Vladimir Putin knows that he already has to step up on Donald Trump and doesn't give a fuck at this point what he says, because he knows he's not going to act accordingly. He's not going to act the way that the United States should respond, in which Vladimir Putin and Russia would be afraid. They would be nervous, but they're not.
And that is what will continue to stop them.
Allies around the world. See, he gives the game away here. He's just too stupid and dishonest to recognize it, because he spends so much of this basically poo-pooing the idea of, alliances and international norms and international laws. He doesn't give a damn about the United Nations. And then at the same breath says, yeah, the United Nations has really helped us check these, other authoritarian powers.
It's just all pure, blatant hypocrisy. Talking out of both sides of your mouth. Let me see. Here's another little clip here.
Yeah. Hang on, Carl, I will bring you in now, but I don't think that it has stopped Putin running roughshod over Ukraine. He just invaded it.
He hasn't taken the country yet.
Well, he invaded it. It took as much as he could.
There's a difference between can't and having like the United States in there stopping his ability to do so. They're fucking, because they're so ineffective and inefficient, because they're so fucking, poorly trained, because they were so ill-equipped when they first went in, because they're so incapable of putting together forces that are actually fucking, considered soldiers, and they're more just conscripts and people rounded up off the streets, and all of the good soldiers were killed right off the fucking bat by the babushkas, in the Ukrainian civilians that were fucking standing there with Molotov cocktails waiting for this fucking armored column to storm in. And then they fucking turned tail and beat feet, the Russians did. Well, the ones that could, at least. The ones that still had feet to use, that is. But yeah, again, great point here by Pierce. And again, to say that it is not the ineffectiveness and the incapability of the Russian military to do and to accomplish their goals, and it's somehow the United States standing in the way, is just an asinine fucking point to make at this fucking juncture.
But the Ukrainians have put up a much bigger fight than he thought they could. But I don't think Putin's intentions have been remotely thwarted by anything America.
Well, he only invaded because of Biden. So frankly, had Trump stayed, I don't think he would have even invaded. But it's true. He did
because he knew. And again, anybody that makes this case, if you want to say they're right, good. That's because Donald Trump would have given Vladimir Putin everything he wanted anyway. He wouldn't have had the necessity to go in, knowing that, again, the United States wasn't going to appease, wasn't going to allow him to do anything that he wanted. So he only kind of felt in his mind, Vladimir Putin, that he had one action left. But now, if it was Donald Trump, he could have just sat back and allowed Donald Trump to give him these fucking economic partnerships like they're talking about now, let him back in the G8, everything that he wanted. He wouldn't even have had to undertake any of this and lose, several million of his fucking soldiers. But, that's, if you want to bring it to that fucking point, we could bring it down that road too, Michael knows.
He was able to run some roughshod over it during Joe Biden, but there was no floating international law. Let's not forget, he invaded before the supposedly awful attack on Venezuela.
But he has, but the thing is, Michael, Putin has continued to act with total impunity in Ukraine, regardless of anything Donald Trump has said publicly, either in a friendly or unfriendly manner. He doesn't seem to care. I think if Putin gets
He's 1,000% right. He's 1,000% right. And speaking of what's going on in Ukraine, we'll use that as kind of our next segue. And you can see behind, here. Let me put this on the big screen. See behind Arthur, all of his patches there, the NAFO patches. Again, same thing that you guys can get on with the Boston Bryant campaign. Now on with the 69 Sniffing Brigade in our campaign to raise money and funding for a truck to go to the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade fighting in Ukraine. So again, those patches, just an example of some of the ones, to anybody that donates a certain amount, you can get those in return. But that's just an example of how many different campaigns he's been a part of. You can see the NAFO flag here in the back. So again, well done to all the work that he's done in providing, again, vehicles, drones, whatever it may be to the Ukrainian military. So he's done a great job. But again, let's just dive into this. This is titled 4 Russian tankers were hit by Ukrainian drones in one day, and also war against the Shadow Fleet. So just a couple updates in a couple different aspects of what's taking place in Ukraine. And also a story about how even Russian horses don't want to be Russian horses anymore. So take a look and it'll make more sense. Hit that like button. Slava Ukraini. We appreciate you guys for supporting the channel and supporting our endeavors. Please make sure if you have the financial ability to do so, you reach out via Venmo. It's the best and quickest way to help the channel. And boy, do we need it at this moment in time. So again, if you could reach out, send $1 or $2, buy me a coffee, Gatorade, whatever it is, it would go a long way to supporting the channel. You can also sign up for a channel membership just underneath me. I think it's about $2.99. You can help us for the month. It goes a long way. You can gift memberships, or you can sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian. And again, thank you to all of the VIPs and the people that signed up there who joined us in the Zoom meetings this month. It was a great time. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for the support. And I really do appreciate you guys showing up and showing out for Blunt Politics. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Again, a little bit of an update as to what's going on in Ukraine by our good friend and colleague here at the show, Artur Rehi. Let's go.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It's Friday, the end of the week. Happy Friday to you. At the end of the day, I'm going to open a cold brewski with my friends. You see a horse on the screen. It's not a random horse. It's a Russian horse forced into the Russian servitude. But the specific story goes that this horse defected. Yes, 2 of them, actually. They defected to the Ukrainian side.
Even the horses don't want to be Russian. Right? Even they're like, get me the fuck out of here. This Russian food is disgusting. They're not feeding us shit. These fat fucking pricks riding our backs all day don't know what the fuck they're doing. All of the horses are getting killed. Somehow these 2 are like, all right, you want to go? You want to make a break for it? Let's go to the Ukrainian side. I heard they got some great food. They treat their soldiers and their horses and their equipment a lot better. What do you say we just head over there? And that's what they did. And again, anybody ever seen the movie War Horse? Anybody in the chat? I'm going to wait for a response on that one. If anybody's familiar with the movie War Horse, and I know that with the Boston accent probably sounds ridiculous for me to say. I just noticed that one. Anybody? Emo, does that mean you've seen it? Have you seen that one? War Horse, great movie. But anyway, yeah, Debbie's seen it. Thank you, Debbie, over there on Twitch. Thank you to everybody else over there on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. All of you guys, make sure you're hitting those respective likes. Well, Thunderkin, you definitely got to see it. It's a good, really, really good movie about World War I, I believe. And that, it is World War I, and how the British were kind of conscripting horses from all over the country to use for the military, and how this one horse was kind of wrapped up in all that. The kid ended up going over and fighting as a soldier, and then actually was reunited with the same horse that he brought up. This horse went on to be like a hero and was saving the day, saving horses, saving people. It's an amazing story. It really is. But it just kind of brings back memories of this, where horses are intelligent. They're incredibly intuitive as well. So nothing to say. I cannot say for sure that these horses did not know that it would be better on the Ukrainian side, and that's why they left. But it's just a cool story either way. But I definitely recommend anybody that hasn't seen War Horse to go watch that, especially if you're interested in history or military history, World War I, World War II type of things. It goes well beyond just the story of the horse, to give great insight into some of the things that took place on the front, some of the things that both the German and the Allied soldiers had to go through. Again, not all of it is 100% particularly accurate, but a good representation nonetheless of what took place. So definitely recommend it, highly recommend it. So let's dive back into this.
The 2 Russian horses. Would you ever have guessed that the biggest war after World War II would have this kind of news in it that Ukrainians capture enemies' horses? First of all, it's weird that Russians even have cavalry, but they do. Literal cavalry. United States has cavalry units to this day, but usually
we use different horses, as you can see. They look a little bit different. They're a little bit they're better armored, I'd say, the horses that we have in the United States cavalry, just by a little bit. I'm just saying, just by a
They
small
do
amount.
literal cavalry. United States has,
That these horses, I'm sure, are a little bit more effective than the Russian horses. They definitely can outgun the Russian horses. Probably, definitely move a little faster than. Yeah, they're just all around better than the Russian horses, as you can see. But here's some of the American horses that we have.
cavalry units to this day, but usually they are armored infantry with tanks. But when you say Russian cavalry unit, it's literal cavalry. Let's watch the story and
listen.
I gotta give credit to the looks of this dude. Looks like a Cossack fighter with a mustache and bald head, true Ukrainian soldier from the past. But yeah, let's share this beautiful story with the horses. Once again, enemy used cavalry.
Yeah, General Putnam. It touches on that. I mean, it gives good kind of insight as to, again, the treatment of the animals that were involved in World War II as well. It shows them, in how they were used to kind of, drag the equipment, drag the artillery. It's a very good depiction, an accurate depiction, I think, at least in that sense of, again, how they were maltreated, how they were malnourished and mistreated and all the above. So again, it's a good story. It's a heartwarming story. It's a heart-wrenching story, a heartbreaking story at the same time. So, but definitely highly recommended. But you're 100% right, General. Appreciate you. All right, let's throw this back on there.
All the groups that moved were destroyed. They had no success. The horses remained alive.
This is basically him talking about the action that resulted in then having the horses there, basically. So unfortunately, they didn't run away from the Russian lines. It looks like.
I gotta give credit. I saw the video of how they unalived the troops on top of the horses. They circled around with the drones to lure the troops off the horses in panic because they didn't want to hurt the horses, and then zeroed in on them, not hurting the precious horses.
I mean, can we just talk about that for a second? Do you think for even a moment that the Russians would have any fucking second thought about taking out the horse and the soldier in that instance? I mean, can we just in that small fucking instance recognize the humanity? And as crazy as that is to say, and I understand how crazy that sounds when you're talking about, again, keeping the horse safe while taking out your enemy, which is a fellow human being. I understand the irony in that. I truly do. But in this case, when again these people are on your fucking territory trying to kill you and steal your land and rape and pillage and plunder and everything that you've fought for and built for and run your family out of town and everything else, and they want to literally, enslave the people there and turn them into something that they're not. I mean, again, this is war. This is war, as gruesome and as horrible as it is to talk about. But in this moment, where just to have the thought of, okay, let's keep the horses safe. Let's not endanger the animals here where they didn't make the decision. It's not their fucking choice to be in this moment, in that position right there. But these soldiers, they did make the active decision. They haven't deserted. They haven't defected. They haven't fucking faked an injury or left Russia. And unfortunately, they've put themselves in this position now, whether it's through conscription, whether it's through fucking, volunteering or whatnot. Sorry, not fucking sorry. You don't want to be there. Don't fucking be there. Use whatever way or means that you can to not be there. Right. But I mean, it just a little sign here of humanity, of being like, okay, let's not go above and beyond, what we need to do in this instance and take out, helpless, animals that are not going to do any harm. Right. And not only that, but let's save them, what it looks like after that. So they even went the extra step of not only just kind of sparing them, but also, making sure that they got a new home and that they're well treated. And I'm sure, you know what I mean? So it goes
incredibly well done. When they moved towards our position, the personnel were warned. The horses were not injured. They are now next to our position. We will subsequently evacuate them along with the wounded.
So as you can see on the screen, it's a Ukrainian soldier now riding that horse away.
What a love. It's just a good way to start my Friday, knowing that these two horses are now alive and well and on the good side of history. That's wonderful. I hope they're together. They're
Hold your
friends.
horse.
My friends, we got some funny stuff coming up today, but I gotta remind you to go and get my book. A lot of funny stuff happening here also. It looks angry and mean and warlike, but it's actually quite of a comedy.
Again, for anybody that doesn't know, Arthur is a former Estonian military service member, served in the Estonian military for some time. I think they go by conscription as well. So I think it was kind of like for service, but still, he's also a musician. I think he kind of blew up for having, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, some sort of, not like a folk song, but some sort of song affiliated with his time in the military, in the Estonian military, and then he's kind of turned that into a career of covering the war in Ukraine. Obviously, his activism and the campaigns that he's involved in, he's raised a ton of money for the military. He's donated a ton of drones. He's gone there multiple times, donated vehicles and trucks. So again, somebody that's really been a huge help and support of the people of Ukraine, not only in the support of the people, but also keeping us informed and up to date in giving us accurate information on what's taking place.
You know me, I make fun of even the darkest of topics. And I know some people cannot stand that and some people love it. So if you do love that dark humor, go and get 8 missions in Ukraine. Links in the description below. We continue with great news, and this is a first also in the 4 years of war. The first Russian Shadow Fleet tanker in history was denied entry into the Baltic Sea. You see, the Baltic Sea, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, Sweden, all of these countries next to it, but also Germany has territorial waters on the Danish Strait. That's the Danish Strait, so you can right see just here. And they can deny or allow any ship that goes through the Danish Strait to pass through their waters. If they deny it, the ship cannot enter to the Baltic Sea, where Russian.
So again, this goes in, right along line with the other headlines that we've been talking about. The drone attacks on the Shadow Fleet. We talked about that massive sea drone attack on the submarines at the Russian base there. So not only that, but the attacks and it goes along with the what the fuck do you call it? The seizure of the Russian oil tanker by the United States. So again, having a very difficult time as of late. This Russian Shadow Fleet, and again, add this with the, I believe they said Denmark kind of disallowed them entry into that, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I got that wrong. But, either way, they were denied entry. So it's making it more difficult for Russia to get the things that they need to get around the sanctions that they're managed to be getting around to this point. So again, active and ongoing steps being taken by nations all over the place, again, doing their part, even in these small aspects, to deny access, deny entry, seize the oil tankers, you know what I mean? Blow them up in terms of, Ukraine and what their military has been doing. So this is just an added bonus in what's been going on. So I know it's a little piece of information, but definitely if you add it on to the rest of what we've been reporting on, it fits right in line with it.
St. Petersburg port and the Baltic Sea Fleet is located. So basically Denmark, Sweden and Germany, they control the entry to the Baltic Sea through their strait, the territorial waters right here. And Germany denied this crude oil tanker. Davian is the name. It's wonderful. Now Davian is going up north, I think, to Murmansk, the White Sea.
I mean, look at how much it lengthens the trip, though. Right? I mean, you can see here, if we follow the path, if it could get in here, right? If it was allowed entry, I think, and again, he says by Germany, then it would be able to get inside here and be able to get right inside the port. And I believe this is the area, if you can see my mouse on the map, this is the area that it would be trying to get to. But now what it has to do, it went in here, came all the way around, was denied entry, had to come all the way back up, all the way around, up and around here. And then, wherever it fucking tries to go, wherever it's kind of, designated to go from there. But you can see the additional fuel costs, the additional time, right? The additional cost of paying the man, like all of that has an effect if this continues as it has. Again, add this up with the ships that have been blown up, seized all over the place, and you can tell that they've been having a difficult time.
But it was denied. It's pretty. I think we should do that a lot more. Even if they do go through, we should detain these ships. But definitely don't let that garbage to the Baltic Sea. Hey, I swim in that sea. I live here in Estonia, in the capital. I swim. Sometimes I do winter swimming. So now I go into my ice hole right here.
All right. Well, as he talks about his winter swimming, which, he's a funny character to begin with. But I just want to, I think there was another aspect here, which was He talks about Kyiv. Yeah, right here. I just want to play this and a couple other aspects. And again, I'll let you guys out of here. But just to kind of dive through some different points of what's been taking place with the Ukrainian people. I think this is kind of an update and, just some shots of stuff taking place in Kyiv, if I'm not mistaken. So again, let's just dive into it.
Glass and snow. This is just, life gives you lemons. You make a beautiful igloo out of those lemons. Look at that.
Well, that's fucking cool. I mean, that's fucking cool. And again, this is probably going to be used by, Republicans and people that still don't believe, like Nick Shirley, that there's an actual war going on. Oh my God, how could they build such a pretty thing in the snow? If there was a war going on, you wouldn't be able to do it. Right? But look at that. That is like an igloo, like with stained glass. I've never seen anything like that in my life. That's freaking awesome. But again, just to some different aspects and showing the different side of the Ukrainian people. Again, I believe this is in Kyiv, and to show again how he says, making lemonade out of lemons here.
I gotta give it to them. Their Diamond is the best reference. I couldn't make any better one. There's a massive power outage. These guys in Kiev set up a generator, big one, and they continue their party with headlamps and flashlights from the phones. Moral. So important.
And again, for us, as we look at this, like, oh my God, like, it's just great to see them out and about, living like whatever they consider a normal life. Again, you're partying, but no power. Everybody's, going on cell phone fucking batteries and flashlights and shit. But again, this is probably going to be used as justification by propagandists and idiots on the right. It's like, oh, look, nothing to worry about here. Why are we sending billions of dollars and defending these people? They're partying. But shut the fuck up. How about that?
The moral up, so you might think, oh, they're wasting electricity, they're wasting the diesel to create this party. The moral boost they get from this party in -15, they're all together, they have a drink, they party. Hey, I don't know if anybody remembers, but the Blitz in London, you gotta keep your moods up. You gotta keep
right. Exactly. Great. I mean, absolutely fucking great point here that he's making. And again, this is to combat the bullshit of the fucking inevitable propaganda that's going to come from scenes like this, from any Ukrainian kind of having a good time, letting loose, letting off some steam. If they're not fucking locked up in a basement, then they don't believe that there's an actual war going on. And again, for my time there, while and during this fucking war was taking place, I can tell you that, one of the things that I was amazed was, their ability to go on with daily life, their ability to not let this, affect them more than it absolutely has to, right? And it's fucking unbelievable to see. But again, going back to World War II, the London Blitz, and elsewhere, there's many fucking instances and nations and countries that were under attack, but still managed to have, the pub open, or, an underground fucking establishment where people were known to go and hang out and fucking let loose with whatever rationed alcohol that they had. And all over the place, you can talk about this. But I mean, just one of the more prominent aspects is during the Blitz and during the raids in London, when the Luftwaffe was coming in and attacking the London as a city and the surrounding areas. People were still able to, have that moment where they would, again, the pubs. That's why the pub atmosphere, the pub community is so strong, or at least was so strong in the UK and Britain, because it's sad to see what it's kind of become now and how many pubs have closed down and how they continue to close down at a rapid rate. But I digress. You can still see moments and times where people in the subways, where they congregated down there, because that was, one of the areas in which that was used as a shelter, that they still had, music playing and people dancing and doing a jig. And you know what I mean? It's just, you have to still kind of maintain somewhat that relevance, that normalcy, regardless of how crazy the circumstances are, to keep yourself sane. And it's a great point being made by Arthur here.
You gotta keep dancing, you gotta keep smiling. The craziest parties happen during the Blitz. If you're 90 years old, perhaps you can correct me here if I'm wrong, and you're from England. But yeah, this is necessary, and I love it. I love to see it. And I'm so glad the Ukrainians are on our side, because they're a fantastic ally to have. Do you know who else is a fantastic ally to have? I only have 3 now.
And I'm going to end. Let's see what this one is. I think there's one more.
Friends. Monthly members on Buy Me.
Yeah, let's just go to this. Just there's one more. Russian soldiers. Yeah, this one I wanted to dive into here. And then we'll end on this, and I'll go into thanking some people, and I'll get you guys out of here.
My friends. Now, my friends, I want to show you clips from the Russian army. This is a Russian soldier. Seems to be very drunk. and he's really proud, standing in this muddy road.
I mean, again, nothing new so far. Nothing new so far or surprising. A drunk Russian soldier, ill-equipped, using what looks to be a fucking push cart. I don't know what the fuck that is. That looks like Tommy Boy's luggage. I'm not gonna lie. Are you calling from a walkie-talkie? Did I catch a fucking niner in there? Because that trash bag with the duct tape on it's got to be yours, right, fucking Tommy? What is that? What is that, medical tape that's like supplies being dragged in through the mud on a trolley, and it's held together by what? I don't even know what, spider webs? What the fuck is that? All right, we'll go on, but they're shit-faced just to kind of set the scene.
Because he is like his grandfather. See, in Russia, they don't really have religion as in Christianity. Yes, I meant what I said.
World War II is the religion. The sacrifices, and again, the Great War of World War II is the religion in Russia, which is why they're so kind of effective at getting people to mobilize and to be able to sacrifice so much, because they just draw upon that, historic fucking attachment they have, that, again, that religiosity of the World War II and the sacrifices and the amount of dead, that the Russians went through. I mean, that is used as as Christianity is used in this country. Right, to get people into the cults, to get people to believe this, that, or the other thing, using these words or these teachings. Well, the teachings in Russia are the teachings of the sacrifices in the heroism of World War II and the defeat of the German horde, basically. So you can see how it's a distinction, how it can be used. Again, the one-to-one connection to Christianity is a real fucking thing too, and how it's being used and kind of fucking stolen. Like the stolen valor of Christianity in America today is something that you could really kind of use to look at the religiosity aspect of how they look at World War II and how it's used to, again, go after states, and people are willing to kind of give their lives and risk their lives for this greater cause for the motherland.
The religion of death and the cult of death. They worship the ending of the Second World War. They worship the 9th of May, Victory Day. That's what they do. They all want to be like their grandfather who stormed the Reichstag. So this one, video for future generations, so that they could see the roads we walked, that we are no worse than our grandfathers and fathers.
Fucking shat-faced. He is about fucking 10 sheets to the wind. I wouldn't trust that guy with his hand on the fucking trigger for 2 seconds right there. And again, it's no secret that there's been multiple instances in which Russian soldiers have been killed in the barracks, set on fire, stabbed, shot, just murdered in cold blood by just an insane drunk fucking comrade. You know what I mean? So again, to trust this guy now, where he can't even stand up straight, talk right, with a fucking weapon in his hands, I don't know. I'd be anywhere but that space.
Show the road. Show this robot. Look at this Wally. This is the Russian Wally.
What the fuck is that thing? What the fuck was that? Is that a robot? What was that thing?
Show the road. Show this robot. Look at this Wally. This is the Russian Wally. The sound.
What is it doing?
I can't. His coughing is like loud.
I am so confused. What in the fuck was that thing? What is it? I have no idea, bro. I have no idea.
This is the Russian Wally.
I don't. Is it supposed to be like rolling? It does look like a lawnmower type of thing. Is it supposed to be like rolling? Yeah, but it's not even like you need a lot of weight. I think you're probably right. I know he calls it the Russian Wally. I love it. I think you're probably right as to but wouldn't you need a lot more weight than that? Like the whole point of a big roller is it's fucking huge and massive and heavy. So it has it puts down the correct pressure to make sure that the road is compact. But that doesn't look like it has the capabilities to it's not even doing anything to the muddy road. Check this out, right?
The Wally.
It's not even leaving a track. It's not even leaving a track behind it in the mud. You know what I mean? But you would need like a mine clearing robot, I guess. Could be, and could also be something. But again, that would require a certain amount of pressure put down, because you'd have to replicate the active weight of a soldier with his gear on, right? Which is what these landmines are probably, triggered, made to detect. In this case, obviously, depending on what type of landmine it is and the trigger system, and obviously like that, I understand. But I don't know. Like, even it's also drunk. Like, even the fucking robot's not going in a straight line. I'm so dumbfounded. Like, what is that doing? It's not putting down enough pressure where it's even making a dent in the muddy road. And it's clearly, you can see just in the back here. You see in the back, you can see the, it's definitely attached to like a cable or something. You can see in the back of it. That's wild.
Russian Wally.
The Russian wall.
The sound. I can't. His coughing is like lungs out. He's super drunk. There's a drunk Russian Wally going around in the mud. They are having the time of their life. This is what the Russians worship. They do. I kid you not. The whole society is built to worship and
again, it's the worst of the worst aspects. And I'll let you go now after we thank some people, but I appreciate you guys for joining me. Please hit that like button on the way out after we get to thanking everybody that contributed to the show. But it's the worst aspects of everything that you've heard, or even if you've not, if you're not hip or up to date with, like, World War II history or what took place, during the Battle of Berlin and the reprisals that the Russians perpetrated on the German citizens, basically for the egregious and terrible acts the Germans perpetrated on the Russian civilians and, the surrounding and attached areas of the USSR. But again, a lot of that is also celebrated, which is another aspect in which Arthur's bringing, talking about here, the blind drunkenness that was definitely associated with the Russians, to a large extent, to a lot of the militaries, to be fair, there was also the shot of whiskey and the shot of fucking this and that the Allied soldiers were known to take going into battle to kind of calm the nerves. But to a much larger extent, the Russians were known for being just drunken, going in mass raping, mass pillaging, mass plundering, all of the worst aspects of war and what takes place. They're known for, and those parts are celebrated, right? The swiftness in which they kick back, the Nazi horde, the way that they brutalized the citizenry, and the way they kind of they retaliated for, and they got their payback for what was done on their soil, right? That is kind of lauded and celebrated to them. So again, that's why he's bringing up this, going over and being drunk and fucking shooting guns in the air, and just, that whole aspect of war in itself is celebrated to a point where it's tough for us to kind of comprehend in the United States. But let's get into thanking some people. I appreciate you guys. I really, really, really do. Thank you so much. Let me get into the old Venmos and see if we get to thanking some people. Again, the Venmo is the quickest and fastest way, known on the platform to kind of get the money across. Everybody that does, super chats and super stickers, you guys are unfriggin' believable as well, and it helps just as much. But, just for, information's sake, that is the quickest and easiest way if you do have Venmo. But let's get into thanking some people for their kind and generous contributions. So let's see here. Go to the old Transacciones. Lawrence, thank you so much, Lawrence, for your kind and generous donation. I really do appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, Damon, as well. Thank you, Christopher, as well. Let's see. Dame says, get gas money for the ride home. Thank you so much, Dame. I appreciate that. Very, very much appreciated. It will absolutely go right in the tank. Thank you, Yakov. Just sent in a 5. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Another gas money. Be safe out there. I appreciate it, dude. I'll be sure to be giving you guys updates along the way for sure. So you guys will be involved. Thank you, Allison. Just going back a couple days now. So thank you, Allison, as well. Thank you, Moms. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Candy, Chris and Christopher and Jamie, and obviously Thomas and Victoria for your kind and generous contributions as well. I can't thank you enough. So hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, I'll be undertaking the journey back to Boston on Saturday. So, I don't know what that means really for the Sunday show. I'm sure at some point, hopefully I'll be able to kind of log on and at least kind of touch base with you guys. But as for like a full show, I wouldn't really expect a full show Sunday. Maybe we'll kind of surprise you with one. Who knows? But depending on where we are, what's taking place, we'll kind of play it by ear. But yeah, for the next let's say week tentatively. We'll kind of have to kind of play it by ear, be looking for updates, be looking for posts. That way you guys can kind of know if the time changes, if I'm going to pop on at kind of like a random time, that you guys can still stay up to date and touch base with things. And again, I really do appreciate your support. And obviously we'll kind of be able to talk more and discuss more about it when hopefully I get settled and back into a routine that I can kind of call my own or whatever. But yeah, so we'll be discussing about it. A lot to talk about it, I'm sure, on both aspects, not only politically, but personally as well. So I appreciate all your help, all your support. Thank you to the chat. Let me see if I can bring in the old YouTubers over here and thank you guys. First on the list today was Jen. Jen, thank you so much for your $2 contribution. Please cover Randall Gamboa Esquivel. So that was this one that we put on the screen earlier. I'll dive into more of the coverage. Again, I like to kind of read and go through these before we so I know how to report on it. I can bring up other aspects that go along with it as well. But I definitely appreciate you guys bringing this to my attention. Goes hand in hand with the treatment of different prisoners, different people that have been hurt, murdered, killed at the hands of ICE as well. So very much appreciate you guys for keeping me involved. Thank you, Jen, for bringing that to my attention. And there was a few more people in the chat that brought it up as well. So thank you to all of you guys as well. So very much appreciated. And we'll be sure to be touching base more on that as I kind of learn more, as you learn more. So thank you, Jen, for the contribution. Thank you. Thank you, Bingo, for the $5 super sticker as well. Very much appreciated, my friend. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you. Appreciate your help. I can talk. I promise I can talk. Some days of the week I can. Today's probably just not one of them. We very much appreciate you. We very much appreciate having you here. Fucking hell. Oh my God. I feel like I'm having a stroke. Yeah, we appreciate you, Bingo. We really do. Fucking hell. Once again, thank you again. Appreciate you. Very much appreciate it. Can't say thank you enough. Really means a lot. Thank you, Tony F. Ice. Absolutely. Very much. Stop laughing at me, Yakov, you son of a bitch. You everybody, take two. Work it out. Oh, you guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's funny too, because I was just actually watching videos, and I don't know if it's like creeping into the back of my mind of people that are like trying to record like a TikTok or whatever, and they just can't get they can't get the word down or the sentence or the phrase down, and they're trying really, really hard too. So I don't know, maybe that's what I was thinking about. But thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tony, as well. I second that. Amendment F. Ice. F. Putin, Slava Ukraine, F. Donald Trump along with you. So appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Simon, as well. Simon becoming a new YouTube member. You yourself can join Simon and become a YouTube member just underneath me for a month, 2 months. You can gift memberships. Thank you, Simon, very much. And is that your dog in a scally cap? That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. All right. All right. You win. You win. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I can't say anything more than that. You just win today. So I appreciate you for being here. I never understood, how is this possible? How can you be a new member and a member for 5 months? Do they allow you to do like multiple? Yeah, either way, I appreciate you. I've never really understood that aspect, but thank you so much. However it's done, it's very much appreciated. I'm always confused how it's like, okay, new member, but he's already been here 5 months. It's like, well, that was a quick 5 months. But thank you, Simon. I appreciate you, brother. Please give a treat and a belly rub to the pup for me. Very nice of you. Thank you, Just Saying, for the 1 gifted membership. Very nice of you as well. Thank you. Very much appreciate having you here. Very, 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 very much appreciated. Thank you, Michael Hernandez as well. Thank you for the 5 going to Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. I very much appreciate that. Heroyam Slava, right back to you. Thank you for being here and for the support. Thank you to Jin. What up, my man? Safe travels, Brian. New adventure starting. You are the man. All of us here are better because of you. Much love from Roxanne 1979 and Jen. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if I can concur with anything but the safe travel wishes. But I do appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the support that you guys have shown. But it's gonna. I do disagree to some aspect. Well, lots of aspects. But I appreciate you. Thank you for the build up. I do. I'm obviously going to keep you guys involved and let you know how the travels are going. So you'll be involved as well. Jen, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Roxanne, as well, for everything that you guys do. Very much appreciate having you both here. Thank you, Tomas. what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Member for 23 months, my favorite number 23. So it just fits right in line. I appreciate that. Love you, Snark. Boston Brian, you kept me parking for 23 months. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the continued contributions to the channel and you coming back time and time again. It really does mean a lot, and it does go a long way in supporting the channel. And it means it's a big reason why we're almost breaking 15 grand already. So we just passed 15,000 subscribers not that long ago. Already heading on to the 16,000 here. So let's get on to 16 and let's get on to 20. Let's see if we can build this community even bigger. So thank you, Tomas. I appreciate you, brother. Excuse me, my apologies. Thank you, 1005 Lips. I love the names. You guys are crazy. I love you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Very much appreciated. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Very valued member of the community. I hope you have a good one. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim, as well, for becoming a member for 20 months. Let's go to the Brian Mod supporters and everybody. Right back to you, Jim. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for showing up to the Zooms, as you always do. Very much appreciated. Thank you for the support and the love. Thank you, No Money G, as well, for the 10. Thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Love seeing you in here all the time. Thank you for the contributions. It means a lot. That goes to JD as well for throwing the $2 into the swear jar, because Lord knows we need a fucking swear jar one of these days. One of these days, JD. I appreciate it. It's going to say Big JD Christie swear jar on it. I appreciate you, brother. All right. And Candy, thank you so much. You've been unbelievable, Candy. I can't thank you enough. Nice to hear someone else not be able to talk. Now I can reference the clip as proof. Yeah. But come on. Who are we kidding? You thinking this is the first time that I've flubbed up or couldn't talk? I'm sure there's a whole fucking compilation you could put together by now. I'm surprised it hasn't been out there of like just random clips of the show where I either flip out or I'm swearing or something. I don't know. I'm surprised it's not out there at this point. But Candy, thank you very much. Very much appreciate your $20 contribution. Goes a long way. Curious Cat to round it out today. Have a safe trip. Love you, Brian. Right back at you guys. Thank you, Curious Cat, for the 5. Goes a long way. And again, if anybody is able and willing to, again, contribute in any way, shape, or form while I'm on the trip, I would absolutely implore you or ask you to, if you can, if you have the ability to, send through the Venmo, because it's just immediate, goes right through. YouTube doesn't take any cuts. It doesn't get held for another 6-7 months or whatever the hell. And it would just help a lot in, whatever, gas and hotels and just making sure that we're able to eat a long way. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Again, be looking out for, different posts and different updates and stuff. And I will be sure to keep you updated on where I'm at, what I'm doing, and how things are going. All right. Thank you so much to the mods. I appreciate you and your patience. Thank you for sticking with me throughout this. What else can I say? Thank you so much. Thanks, Dad, Mom, Cal, Tim, for all your support. I really do appreciate it. Everybody that's helped out with the show. Again, Mel has done so much for the show, and I absolutely am 100% appreciative of everything she's done in making the show and helping this show grow. So I want to make sure that I don't leave that part out as well, because that's very important to recognize. So I appreciate you guys, and I will keep you updated on what's going on. So thank you to the mods. Thank you to everybody else. I appreciate you, and make sure that you guys once again are at least, the very least, sharing this out if you can. Put this on the screen one more time, if I may, because it is absolutely worth it. Again, just a share on this would be enough. So we're up to 33 donations, up over 3,000 euro at this point, which is just unbelievable to be doing, and still in just less than a week. So again, just all I ask, if you could take this link, share it out to people, and who knows, maybe it'll land in front of somebody that does have the ability to make a huge, huge difference. And again, even if it's not you, if you share it out there, then you had a hand in that. And that's all I ask, because I know we're in tough times right now financially. Fucking believe me, I do understand. So again, if you can't, you can't. Don't worry about it. If you can share, please do. So I'll see you guys. Excuse me. I'll keep you guys posted. What's today? Friday? Yeah. So again, be kind of sitting out there waiting and ready for a post on what happens on Sunday. So I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys again. Thanks for the support. Very much appreciated. And again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. And be out in the streets, please. Stay loud, stay proud. But again, make sure you're staying safe. Wear the right equipment. Get a mask if you can. Get exits. Get friends. Whatever it may be. But make sure you're keeping your head on a swivel. Stay safe out there. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you all so much. And I will stay in touch. Appreciate you guys. Let's get out of here.
have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it. I've become an expert on guns. Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Or go fuck yourself. Or go fuck yourself.
No words, I have the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
Or go fuck yourself.
Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. When you ran out the healthy arms, you're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your. Yesterday's a hard word for me.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
What in the hell was that all about? I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
He says, wrecked him, damn near killed him.
Water coming here is dead.
Obama.
Builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it. There's no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones.
This week it was reported that an illegal thing, and you just look at this, what's happening.
The population in Thailand is 63 million people. It is twice the size of Wyoming. Its chief exports are textiles, footwear, and rice. Each year, approximately 13,000 people are killed in car accidents in Thailand.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you later. Appreciate you. Have a good day.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.
Thanks, Pops.